Alrighty, people. Week 4 of fantasy football Monday Monster Truck Rally. We've got a great week ahead for you. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, but it's fantasy football Q&A time. Week 4. If you're 0-3, it's time to get 1-3. If you're 1-2, it's time to get to 500, baby. If you're undefeated, let's keep the ball rolling. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hey, be a friend as the stream begins. And let's go ahead and smash that like button. We got a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, I just know we can do it because I believe in you guys. You guys are always showing up, showing some love, showing some support. Hey, something that's very important to note is if you have a fantasy question today, we're going and you want to donate, we're going to ask. You don't have to. What's the verbiage we should use? Get your Q answered ASAP. So if you have a question today and you want to skip the queue, you can super chat, but we would ask, if you don't mind, how about go to our website? It's the pinned comment. It's also in the chat for you right there. And just transparency's sake, the reason we ask you guys to go to the website is because YouTube destroys us on fees with these super chats. Just being transparent, they are taking a lot away from your donation. So if you want to donate to us and have us benefit the most, check out the website, the link that we just sent. If you don't have an account yet, use the promo code LAND. You get a 7-day free trial, free expert rankings, free trade calculator. It's incredible over there. But we are going to start off today with some news. Then we'll go to the website questions and then super chats and whatever the case may be. And we definitely need to switch up the graphic. I keep forgetting.
Come on, brother.
Anyway, all right. Let's start with some news here. First things first, Chris Olave, a game time decision. Kind of like the A.J. Brown situation where out of nowhere, my hamstring popped. And we got to figure out, is he going to play?
A lot of hamstrings this year. Gosh.
So this makes Rashid Shaheed much more interesting. Does this make any tight end streamable in New Orleans, maybe, or no?
For me personally, no.
Okay.
There's no one here I'm excited for.
So
to be completely honest,
Rachaad White is now questionable for week 4. This is like the Uno reverse card is what's happened here, because at the beginning of the week they're like, oh, Bucky might not play, he has an injury, and now they're like, Bucky's good to go, and then AJ Brown, or now Rachaad White is like, actually reverse Uno, I might be out. So that will be interesting to see. AJ Brown is ruled out for week 4. Justin Herbert expected to play. I'm still not that excited about that offense, specifically those receivers, mainly because Joe Alt is out. There's a lot of injuries. I don't know how excited I should be about that. Raheem Mostert is questionable. That doesn't really impact anybody. Jordan Love is expected to play. How do you feel about that? I know in the Flock League you've got Jordan Love, and you're obviously very excited to play him. I'm sure.
Yeah, I love it. I think if he's good to play, it's great. I hate that he's coming back against the Vikings. I feel like he's not going to have his best game, but if he's healthy, it puts the best chances for your fantasy team if you have Jordan Love or Jaden Reed and the like, and so on and so forth. So you kind of have to start him if you do have Jordan Love, but it is a tough matchup.
Definitely makes Jaden Reed a lot more intriguing and exciting. All right, Sam Laporta is going to play. Kenneth Walker is going to play. Do not play Zach Charbonnet. He should not be in any lineup. Honestly, I don't even know how confident I am in Ken Walker, being transparent with you, because that matchup is very difficult. But most people won't have a better option, so most people will probably have to start Ken. But that matchup is about as difficult as it gets.
Yeah, I guess the Lions there. It's a tough one for sure.
So
completely
definitely something to consider as we talk through questions today. But that's pretty much it. Kittle's gonna play. Debo's questionable. I think Alvin should play. So anyway, just getting you guys updated. All right, let's start today's stream with the website questions. If you don't know, we have an absolutely incredible website where you can ask a question at any time. And we can answer it offline. We can answer it in the live streams. You can leave a comment and let us know if you want to answer straight away or if you want to wait for the live stream. But
you can link your team, your league as well. I think that's what's really great about this experience is that we can kind of give you a little bit more in depth instead of saying, what about this and this? So have a look at the website.
You have a free My Team's League Analyzer, so you can analyze your league. You get free expert rankings. You can use a trade calculator. Now, if you want to use Bedakianized rankings, you'll have to get a membership. If you haven't signed up yet, 7-day free trial. Use the promo code LAND. And then, of course, you can drop a question with the link that I keep pasting in the chat there. The first question that I can see here is from Zorn2Largent. And this must be a Seahawks fan. And he wants to know who to start at quarterback, but he hasn't given us any option. Maybe we will try and see in the review site if he has said something in the comment section. Let's have a look here. He says, I have Javonte. Should I drop for Emmanuel Wilson or Cam Akers? Other running backs are Ken Walker, Dobbins. Okay. So I don't think he actually asked the question right, because there's no comment about a quarterback. But would you drop Javonte for Emmanuel Wilson or Cam Akers?
Drop Javonte Williams for Cam Akers, or no, I'm keeping Javonte.
Yeah, I actually agree. All right, we're both agreeing on that one. I just want to send him a little message because I don't think he filled the question out right, but I wanted to help him out.
And by the way, guys, if you're on YouTube, we will get to the super chats. We're just going to go through the site first and then go to YouTube. So just stay with us here. We're going to go through every single one of your super chats and then try and get to the chats, the normal chat if we can. So just keep that in mind, guys.
All right, this is a team review, which we will do later. Start sit question here for Yakub. It's a 1 quarterback redraft 10-team start 7. So it's a start 7-10 team. He's starting Amon-Ra, Olave, Cole Kmet, Jahmyr Gibbs. He already started Devin Singletary, Justin Herbert, and now at flex he's considering, wow, a lot of great names: Jaden Reed, DJ Moore, Jackson Smith, and Jigba.
Yeah, I mean, first thing I would say is if Chris Olave doesn't play, let me ask you this: are you starting Chris Olave with the quick turnaround over Jaden Reed with Jordan Love, or over DJ Moore and Jackson Smith and Jigba? For me personally, I don't know if I can answer that question with confidence, because of how it feels like a T Higgins type of situation that we saw last year or 2 years ago, where he was like, all right, he was struggling in practice, he gets injured, but he's okay to go, and then he goes out for one play and tries it out and doesn't play. I kind of feel like I just want to avoid this whole situation with Chris Olave and go in a different direction here.
Yeah, well, my answer, I'm with you, actually. I would start Jaden Reed over Chris Olave, so we'll make that change there. And then at flex, I would start JSN. I think you're probably going to say DJ Moore, but I would start JSN.
I have DJ Moore higher in my rankings technically this week, but I love JSN as well coming into this week.
So when he watches this, because guys, when you ask a question through the website, it automatically sends you a time code so you can watch it later on. But I would prefer JSN. The Detroit Lions give up the most points specifically to slot wide receivers, and to the wide receiver position in general, they're giving up the second most points. Only Washington gives up more to fantasy wide receivers. You do not beat this team on the ground. They are the most difficult rush defense in the NFL. You beat them through the air. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the JSN card here. I think DJ Moore is probably the safer play. Like if you're like, I don't have the confidence in JSN, I need to see consistency. I get go ahead and play DJ Moore, but for me, I'm going to say we're going to go with Jaden Reed and JSN there. And if you want to play safety, DJ Moore is a fine option there. So appreciate you, Yakub. All right, another start sit question here from D Nickel 595. He says it's a 1 quarterback 10-team start 7. All right, so it's the same format as before, and it's his wide receiver. He's starting Diggs, he's starting Ertz, JT, Gibbs, Mahomes. So let's have a look at his wide receiver 2 spot. To me, this is very obviously Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I completely agree. Amari Cooper here, I will be starting over all these guys.
Love Amari Cooper this week.
Yeah, he has Tony Pollard in the flex, which is great. I will be starting him over all your other wide receivers in Quentin, Shakira, Waddle, and Tank Dell is ruled out this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think this is the best lineup you have so far this week.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, no Tank Dell. That's probably going to help Stephon Diggs, we would imagine, who's been pretty good through 3 weeks. Mark Cooper's got a great matchup versus the Raiders. He should smash again. He's getting all the targets. He's getting the red zone looks. Max Crosby's injured. That's important to note. But yeah, I love this lineup that you're able to put out, man. Looks great. Again, guys, if you want to ask a question, you can super chat, or you can try out our website. Free rankings over there, free expert rankings, free trade calculator. It's and if you do sign up, use a promo code LAND for a 7-day free trial, and you can ask a question through the site. You can also super chat, but the reason we talk about the website is because super chat takes such a high percentage of the donation that you give us that ultimately the site is just better for us and it's better for you. I mean, and visually it looks way better. Okay, this is a trade question from Robert. It was 1 day ago. Is one quarterback, start 8 PPR. It's a 12-team league. One side gets Rashee Rice and Aaron Jones. The other side gets Saquon Barkley and Drizzy Drake London. What do you think about this trade here?
Okay. What is it? Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley. Wait, am I looking at the wrong trade here? Am I tripping?
You must be. Rashee Rice, Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, and Drake London.
Oh, Robert. Okay, sorry, I clicked on the wrong person. Robert. Okay, here we go.
I'll answer.
I'm here now. That's my fault.
Right.
Rashee Rice, Aaron Jones for Saquon Barkley and Drake London. Give me Saquon and Drake London.
Yeah.
This is a 12-team star at 8, so it's a smaller star. I will kind of lean on keeping Saquon. He's currently, I think he's RB1 in the season so far right now. I think that's going to continue. I love Rashee Rice, but I think Drake London is a good pivot down to that if you're going to tier up at the running back position. In my opinion.
two superstars in Saquon and Rice. Man, I just think when you have a situation like this where across the board it's relatively even, I'm going to go with the player that gets the most valuable player in the deal, and that is Saquon Barkley, I believe, in this situation. Yeah. So that would be my answer.
If this was a larger league, well, even if it's a large league, still, I think this is a relatively even deal. But I think the gap between Saquon Barkley and Aaron Jones is pretty significant versus if we're just looking at positionals versus Rashee Rice and Drake London, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of why I'm leaning Saquon Barkley and Drake London in there.
Yeah, I am absolutely with you there. Same page. All right. Alex is the next question here. And Alex says it's a start-sit question, and I think he's just wanting us to have a look at his roster. So it is a one quarterback. Let's start with quarterback. It's either Kirk Cousins or Andy Dalton. I think we're riding the Andy Dalton train personally. How about you?
I personally would be going Kirk Cousins this week. I love Andy Dalton. It's not that I don't like him. I'm going to stick with Kirk Cousins this week.
Okay, I really don't like that matchup Kirk has, especially with the healthy Lattimore. But I can definitely get where you're coming from. I much prefer the game with Andy Dalton. So when he watches this, you can make this decision based on both of our answers. At running back, he's got Monty, great. Then he's got Josh Jacobs. We're not going to start Rashawn over either of those names. Wide receiver, he's going Adunze. If Debo plays, we'll play Debo over Adunze. Otherwise, you should hold there. And then at flex, if you've already played Wan'Dale, then nothing you can do there.
Yeah, that's probably locked in as well. So, I mean, this is another thing, guys. If you have somebody playing on a Thursday night like Wan'Dale Robinson, who just played, we probably would have preferred that you start him in your actual wide receiver position so you have a little bit more. I guess it's kind of worked out to be the same, but at the end of the day, we still would have started Rome Odunze over Wan'Dale even before his performance. But yes, Deebo Samuel over Wan'Dale. Deebo Samuel over Rome if he plays. If not, you have Rome Odunze already.
Yes, exactly. That's really the only change we'd make. Appreciate you, Alex. Thanks for the question. We got a trade question here. From Apple Pie Monster, he says, thoughts. I feel like he's getting the better deal. Should we include more players to balance it out? So you get Bijan and Kyler. They get Patrick Mahomes and Saquon Barkley. Yeah, ultimately, with Kyler and Mahomes, I do prefer Kyler rest of season, oddly enough. So it's a little bit of a wash there for me. I just think Kyler's the better fantasy quarterback. But Saquon is by far the superior player in this deal. So I don't see how this is an even trade. I think you would need to add some players to even it out. For example, can we throw in, can you get Tyreek Hill right now, who is currently, dealing with the whole Tua situation? Can you wait on him, and can you offer him like Drake London, for example? Or how about Stephon Diggs?
Maybe we can use his team, if we give him one of those options on what these teams have, if that makes any sense.
No, what do you mean by that?
like if you go to option 1 next to the team, you can see like what other players he could potentially
Oh,
throw in this trade.
that's what I'm doing, brother.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize. I didn't know that these players that you were talking about were on that team.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yes, yeah. So I would be willing to send Stephon Diggs if he can send you Tyreek Hill. I know a lot of people don't want
yeah.
Tyreek Hill right now.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's a great option to try and even out the value. You could also try and send. I don't want to send JSN away, but if you can find your way into like sending Zach Charbonnet away for something valuable, like for example, if you need help at tight end, this guy has 3 tight ends. Can you send Zach Charbonnet away for what? Kyle Pitts? I don't want that much of that offense though. Maybe
Evan Ingram. Yeah, Evan Ingram could be interesting there as well because I know he's injured. A lot of people don't like that offense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
I would agree.
Cool. So those are a couple options. I prefer option 2 where you get Tyreek and you send Diggs away, kind of like off a high. And it's not letting me submit this when we add in addition. It's not letting me hit next question. So why don't you answer the first super chat, and I'm going to just message the devs.
Okay.
First super chat from 369.
Yeah, guys, if you want your questions answered on YouTube and or on the website, that link is in the description or in the chat already. But we're gonna go in order of the super chats now here on YouTube. 369. He says get Cup, Waddle, and trade away AJ Brown and Javonte Williams. I guess ultimately I would want the Cup Waddle side, and once again I always say this every single time. What is your conviction on Tua coming back? I think Javonte Williams is not somebody I want to lean on here. And if Cup does come back and it is healthy, give me Cup and Waddle every single day over AJ Brown and Javonte Williams there. So thank you so much for that super chat. There's 369. Isaac Rodriguez, how you doing, brother? Thank you so much for the super chat. He says full PPR, Zay or Tyreek, Laporta or Gesicki. I'll be honest with you. I feel like I just can't start Tyreek Hill, but I think the fact that Zay Flowers is pretty low in my rankings, not that he's low in my rankings, just that I think that's not a name where I would rather pivot to. I would still rather play Tyreek Hill coming into this week. Names I will pivot off of a Tyreek Hill would most likely be like a DK Metcalf, a DJ Moore, a Chris Olave, an Amari Cooper, a Stephon Diggs, a Deontay Johnson, a Jaden Reed. I think Zay Flowers is interesting based off the matchup, but it's just not there for me. And then I will be starting Sam Laporta since he's getting the green light here. Going to play in this Sunday night or Monday night game. Yeah, Monday night game, actually, doubleheader.
All right, let's get back to some of these questions here. We have one on the website. By the way, guys, if you want your question answered through the website, I'll put a link in the chat. It's a great way to support the channel. Really cool way to ask us a question. But Apple Pie Monster is here. He says thoughts. I feel like he's getting the better end of the deal. Oh, we've answered this.
We just did that, yeah.
Yeah, but essentially, yeah. So we would go with the Bijan side, but we want to add Tyreek Hill to that.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I think that's essentially our answer there.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, let's get to some super chats. We do have a couple team reviews here, which, by the way, we will definitely get to. We'll just get to those at the end of the stream.
I think we did get one on the site, by the way, like Kevin. I don't know if you see that one.
Kevin?
Yeah, on the site. You said Purdy or Mayfield. That's probably one of the most recent ones that I'm seeing if you refresh, maybe.
Okay. Let's see here.
Do you see that on your end?
It's not showing up in streamer mode. I do see Kevin. Let me try and refresh streamer mode then. Maybe that will bring it up.
Guys, make sure you drop a like as well. And once again, we're going to get through each and every one of your questions here on the website and in the chat here as well. But yeah, Kevin does have a question.
Okay, yeah. So quarterback?
Yeah, he has a quarterback. I have a question that says, should I start Purdy or Mayfield this week? Brock Purdy versus the Patriots or Baker Mayfield versus the Eagles? This is a really interesting, great question. I don't think it's easy. For me, technically, I will be starting. I'm just pulling up my rankings here. I would be starting Baker Mayfield, actually. I'm not sure where Zach would be going
Yeah,
there.
I'd be starting Baker as well versus Philly. I think we do have to monitor the weather there because obviously hurricane conditions, but I think it might calm down by the time they're playing football. But assuming the weather is okay, we're gonna go Brock Purdy. Just so you know, Kevin, for next time, the way you've entered the question is as if you're starting both quarterbacks. Whereas what you want to do is just say, okay, here's my quarterback, and then choose two options underneath that. But just so that makes sense. But yeah, we would be going Baker Mayfield, both of us, unless weather is an issue, right? I appreciate the question, Kev. Again, if you guys want to ask a question through the site, great way to support the show. We've got so many questions now through the site, which is actually incredible. You guys are great. Can we get to some super chats real quick, Badaki? I'm gonna keep talking to the devs about a couple
Yeah. Go ahead, do your thing. Rob Hopkins is next on here on YouTube. He says start three: Zay, Deontay Johnson, Ayuk, JSN, Reed, Jacobs, or Stevenson. So my goodness. Okay, so I'm assuming out of those wide receivers, I need to start three. One for sure, two for sure would be Reed and JSN. And then for me, technically, I would say Brandon Ayuk, even. Yeah, I'm going Brandon Ayuk with or without Debo, regardless of situation there. They play the Patriots. He should have a big game. As much as I love Deontay Johnson, I'm gonna rock with Brandon Ayuk there. And then Josh Jacobs or Ramondre Stevenson. For me, this will be Josh Jacobs. But keep in mind, it is a tough matchup against the Vikings. They've been pretty decent against the run there. So once again, Rob, it's going to be Brandon Ayuk, Jason Reed, and then Josh Jacobs for me at that running back position. So hopefully that helps there. So we appreciate that super chat. John Pena, how you doing? He says Shakira, Adunze, Jennings, McConkey, Lazard, Brian Thomas need two half PPR. Half PPR for me, this would be Shakira, and then Roma Dunze. I can't start Brian Thomas against the Texans defense, and that whole team has been struggling as a whole. And Shakira is clearly the number one wide receiver there. And Roma Dunze, I would say, is a little bit shaky because Keaton Allen's coming back, but I will be going Shakira and then Roma Dunze this week. Thank you so much for that super chat as well. Dale is next here. He says pick two: Cooper, Ford, McLaurin, or Michael Wilson. For me, these are the two Browns players here. Both of these guys have great matchups. Amari Cooper should have continued with that bounce back game. And then obviously at the running back position there, I'm going to be going Jerome Ford, where the Raiders currently give up the second most points to the running back position. So give me both Browns there, Dale. Hopefully that does help you. And we appreciate that super chat there. Our next super chat here, Brian Orlando. How you doing, Brian? Thank you so much. He says, what's up, fellas? Rank these running backs half PPR. All right, let's start here. Etienne, Ramondre, Mason, Brian Robinson, and Najee. If I'm ranking these running backs this week, I'm going to go through my rankings here, and I'll tell you in order. First coming up here, I have... Am I scrolling down? Am I still scrolling? Yes, I am still scrolling. Gosh, I have these guys pretty low this week. For me, it would be first Jordan Mason, then it would be Ramondre Stevenson, Etienne, Brian Robinson, and then Najee Harris for me. That's where I would go. Hopefully that helps there for you there, Brian.
Let's get back to some of these site questions. Again, guys, if you want to ask a question, you can super chat. We would ask if you don't mind, try and do it through the website, just because we benefit more from it. You know, YouTube takes a high percentage of those super chats, so you can super chat. You can also ask a question through the website. And also, if you haven't signed up yet, by the way, use the promo code LAND. You can get a 7-day free trial, free expert rankings, free use of the trade calculator. There's so much value over there on the site. The next start sit that I can see is from Ramen. Do you see that as well?
Ramen, yes, I do see that from Ramen. Thank you so much. He says
Let's
who to start.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. He said who to start at RB2 and tight end, and who for wide receiver other than Marvin Seedy. I probably did this wrong the first time. Okay. No worries. All right, looking at the first wide receiver position here, I think we will both say is Brandon Ayuk will be the first wide receiver, and then Chris Olave if he plays. But at the same time, we kind of spoke about this earlier. How much do you trust Chris Olave in this hamstring without getting re-aggravated here?
If he plays, I'm still going to put him over Jameson.
Exactly, over Jameson, exactly. Yeah. But I think there's also your conviction, because I would start Chris Olave over Jameson, but like, damn, my gut's telling me like I don't like that idea of starting him with how close that injury was
Yeah, I get
to the
that.
weekend.
I just feel like there's just more security in like Chris Olave's target share. I know he
Yeah,
hasn't had a high percentage of targets, but his target
yeah.
share, how important he is to the team, is pretty
No,
appealing to me.
I completely agree there. So we're starting Brandon Ayuk and then Chris Olave, and then obviously if he doesn't play because he's going to be game time decision, you start Jameis Winston or Jameson Williams, excuse me. And at the tight end position, it's going to be Sam Laporta. He's been cleared to play. He's going to be playing for you this week over Zach Ertz. And at the flex position, I'm seeing Bucky Irvin, Zach Charbonnet, Ramondre Stevenson, Braylon Allen, and Tony Pollard. This week, I do have Tony Pollard over Ramondre Stevenson, a phenomenal matchup coming into this week against the Miami
Yeah,
Dolphins.
I'm gonna go Pollard
Um,
here as well. And
yeah,
tight
who
end, you
currently
said Sam
gave up the
Laporta,
third
right?
most. Yeah, Sam Laporta.
Okay,
And
sorry.
then Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard
And
currently
then
plays Miami Dolphins, who give up the third most points to the running back position. So keep that in mind.
yeah, and then look, if Chris Olave doesn't play, you can easily just put Jamison Williams straight into your flex or your wide receiver 2 position. So that's a great lineup, man. It really is. Let's hope Sam Laporta gets back on track. But that's a superstar lineup for sure. In
Are
a
you
12
starting?
team league, start 8. But Aki,
Yeah.
if we had this team in the flock league,
I
come
know
on, we'd
it
feel
would be
incredible about it.
crazy. Let me ask you this: are you starting Jameson over Ramondre Stevenson this week? Out of
Um,
curiosity, I know it's
I think
kind of
that's a
hard.
wash.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because Patriots play the San Francisco, and then Seahawks or the Lions play the Seahawks, who have been all right, I guess. The past they have a decent secondary there. So,
Yeah,
actually, no, they actually give up the second least amount of points to the wide receiver position. So, that's a
yeah,
tough question. But anyways, hopefully that helps there. We appreciate you,
yeah. Thanks, Ramen.
Ramen.
Very kind of you for asking a question through the site. We got a team review here, which we will get to these team reviews for sure. We're just not going to get to them right here, right now. Team reviews we'll do at the end of the stream here. All right, this is one from Caleb, and I think he wants us to figure out his flex. He's starting CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Kittle, Jordan Mason, Saquon Barkley. He's starting Geno Smith at quarterback, which is what I would do over the options he has. And here at the flex, he's got Ken Walker, Jameson, Ramondre. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a tough decision. He's got Keenan. Wow. How big is your bench, by the way? That's a lot of players. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This must be a dynasty league. Okay.
This must be a dynasty.
What do
League.
you
I
what do
mean,
you think here, man?
for me, this will be Kenneth Walker. I think he's
Yeah.
playing. He is playing. I think he is the best available player on your team, at least on the bench here. And I know he's coming off an injury. It is a tough matchup
That's what I was
technically
going to say. I
against
don't like that matchup
against
very
the
much.
Lions. But like, I think if you think about, yeah, the Lions is tough. But I think this team knows how to move the ball down the field, and I think he can definitely find the end zone. So I'm gonna go with Kenneth Walker, and I think it's either Kenneth Walker or then Keenan Allen for me. But I'm not sure how much I trust in Keenan Allen with his injury coming back.
My question is more Kenneth or Ramondre. That's where my mind is
Oh,
going right
Ramondre.
now.
Okay, yeah, Ramondre is a good. I will start Ramondre over Keenan Allen, but yeah, for me this would be Kenneth Walker then, for sure.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm still trying to figure out in my mind between Ramondre and Kenneth. I do go Kenneth, but man, I hate that matchup. That is really concerning.
I guess like
What
Ramondre
I would say
is not a better matchup technically if you think of the 49ers in that offense specifically with the Patriots.
we have seen running backs do pretty well against them, to be fair. They've and
Yeah.
49ers have not defensively been this lockdown unit or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably roll with Ken Walker because he's on the better offense and he's going to get a lot of volume. But I would say this: if you need an absolute ceiling play, I do think Jameson is a legit option here. That's a tough call. I mean, would you start? Hold on, would you start Najee or Ramondre? Najee or Jameson?
I'm starting Ramondre and Ramondre over Najee, and I think Jameson and Ramondre, that's where it's washed
Yeah,
for me.
tough.
Like, I
Najee's
think
one
that-
of my starts of the week versus those Colts with no Jalen Warren, so that's tough.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand.
yeah, that's a tough.
But
call,
do you know
man.
who they
Hopefully
have?
That helps.
They have Cordell Patterson, if I'm not mistaken. So watch Cordell Patterson. I'll snap freaking Najee Harris. Even though I don't want that for you because I know he's the start of the week for you. But
Yeah. Yeah.
That
All
would
right.
just suck.
Those are all the questions through the website for now, guys. If you do want to drop a super chat, consider going ahead and doing it through our website. You can get a
Yeah.
account for free rankings, free trade calculator. If you haven't signed up yet, you can create a free account, use a promo code LAND, LAND, and then any question you ask, we'll get a discount on as well. But you can super chat. You can also go ahead and use the website. The reason we point you towards it, number one, it's a better experience for you. Number two, YouTube takes such a high percentage of your donation through super chat. All right, what's the next super chat we got here, though? From Rob?
We have Rob. Yeah, but had we answered his question, he was just more of like a just in case type of thing. But thank you so much for that, Rob. I got that cleared up.
Okay.
Bruce, how you doing, brother? He says, please rank for full PPR. Reed or Deontay Johnson. Let's start there. Oh, he just wants us to rank, actually. Okay. So it's either Reed, Deontay Johnson, Jacoby Myers, Jennings. For me, this is Reed, Deontay Johnson, Jacoby Myers, then Jennings. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. You let me. Are you going to answer this, or are you responding to people?
I'm responding to the devs real quick.
Okay.
I trust you.
So that's no worries. That's where I will go, Bruce. Once again, I'm going Reed, then Deontay, Jacoby Myers, since Devontae Adams is out, and then Jawan Jennings, because I think Debo is going to be back this week. Just Chrome, brother, how you doing? Thank you so much for the super chat. He says one flex PPR, Mixon, Kelsey, Waddle, Kirk, Steele. Look, I would say this for me, this will be Mixon, but if I'm not mistaken, I think he is questionable right now, and if he does get the go, that's where I will be going there.
If Mixon
I'll
plays,
be going
it's
Joe Mixon.
definitely Mixon. He'll be one of my favorite plays this week if he's playing. So
yeah, playing against the Jags, who have been terrible so far. This is a high scoring offense with no Tank Dell either. Yeah. So start Joe Mixon if you can.
We did get another question through the website, so website questions will get prioritized. If you do want to get your question answered through the website, I'll keep pasting this link in the chat for you. Great experience for you. He says Hurts, Connor, Taylor, Marvin, Rice. He says basically who's a flex. Okay, so he hasn't put the flex in there as an option for us to reply to it, unfortunately. But I guess we can ask. We can answer it. Here.
Yeah, so I guess he has he has Hurts already in. He has Connor and JT in, and then Marvin and technically Rice, which he didn't put in. I'm assuming, of course, you're going to start Rice, but at the flex position, it's out of Wilson. I'm assuming Michael Wilson.
Start 7. So let's assume he wants us to fill out his wide receiver 2, his flex, and his tight end. Right.
Well, then it will for sure be Rice at the wide receiver 2. Yes, I would agree. Sorry.
Yeah. Rice is wide receiver 2. Be Pat Freiermuth, or who's B. Wilson?
I think that just says bench.
Like okay, bench, right, yeah.
Bench
so he's going to start Rice. He's going to start Pat. I just don't think he knew how to enter it, and that's okay.
And that's okay. And then the next one, it will be Deontay Johnson for me.
Yes. So let's put these in order. Deontay Johnson, Garrett Wilson. Tank's not playing.
Wait, is Wilson
Roma Dunze and Jameson Williams.
Wilson. Yeah, you're right.
In that order.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
So we are on the same page there. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for asking a question through the site. It helps us out more than you know. And great experience for you guys. Okay, the next super chat, though, we'll go to some of these super chats here.
Yeah, 24 Lightning. Yeah, 24K. We appreciate you. He says, I have a conundrum for this week. I'm in a half PPR league with 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. I don't know who to put in my flex, Tyreek Hill or Tony Pollard. Help would be appreciated. This is a great question. 24K.
By the way, conundrum.
Conundrum.
You just know this guy's fancy as fuck.
Yes.
I mean, that is to pull out conundrum. You know this guy's in the books. I love it.
Look. I would say this. Tony Pollard has the safer floor. Tyreek Hill has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, dude.
I think if you need, let me say this. This is perfect, since both of these teams play each other on Monday night, and if you need a high upside play, let's say you're down by 25 or down by a big amount, and you just need, hey, Tyreek Hill can get you that 30, 40 plus bomb type of game, you go Tyreek Hill. If you need a 10, 8, maybe 12 point game, I feel like Tony Pollard could be that play for you. I don't know. I think this is tough. This is a tough answer.
It's definitely tough. It's totally difficult. I mean, I have Tyreek Hill in the Flock League, and I'm debating right now between Tyreek Hill and Deontay Johnson. And if Joe Mixon plays, I have to then debate between Joe Mixon, Tyreek Hill, and Deontay Johnson. So I totally get these questions. Is Snoop Huntley better? I don't know. He's different. That's what makes me worried. I wish it was Skylar Thompson again, so I would be like, all right, I'm not going to play Tyreek Hill. That's what's so hard about this. I feel like Pollard, the way you have to play it is based off upside. Hey, if I need absolute ceiling play, I'll put Tyreek Hill in there. But if I just want safety, Tony Pollard, and ultimately, I would say Tony Pollard if it was my team.
Yeah, and I think we
So
just need
tough.
to ultimately we just need to see what what Tyreek Hill and Tyler Huntley is going to look like. If this week, if he comes out and Tyreek Hill has 15 points, I think he could be a decent start for the rest of the season over some of these names like a Tony Pollard. But we need to see it first.
Yeah.
But
By
we
the way,
appreciate that super chat.
Yeah, thanks for the super chat. Hey, be a friend, guys. Hit that like button. We got a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, we can get there. So go ahead and hit that like button if you have yet to do so. You guys have been so great this season. We hit 30K, which is crazy. That seems completely insane. Like, if you had asked us in the offseason, what was your goal?
Kind of wild.
I don't know what, like 20 would have been a cool goal, but 30 is insane. So thank you for the love.
Yeah, it is.
And also, if you do want to get your question prioritized, check out the pinned comment. Go ahead and ask a question through our website. You can sign up for free. Use a promo code LAND, LAND. That'll get you access to our trade calculator. That'll get access to expert rankings. And then, of course, you can ask a question through the website. It's a better experience for you. And also, YouTube doesn't take a bunch of your donation away from us.
Yeah.
All right. The next super chat, though, we will answer super chats, obviously, is from Nightwave. He says, who should I put as wide receiver 1-2? QJ, Ladd, Myers, or Downs? So I guess we're answering twice, right? 2 names.
Yeah, so out of QJ, Ladd, Meyer, Downs.
Because he doesn't have AJ and Smith. He drafted both of AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. That's tough. Yeah, I think Myers is definitely in play with no Devontae Adams.
I completely agree. I think one has to be Myers. And then the person that I don't know where to go is either QJ or Ladd personally.
Adams is confirmed out, correct? Sorry, just want to make sure.
Who is? Sorry?
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, Devontae Adams is confirmed out.
Yeah, it's definitely Jacoby then. And then I don't trust these wide receivers in Los Angeles, to be honest, but I don't trust Downs. I think I'm going to go Ladd here.
Yeah, I think there's 2 different ways you can look at it. If you're looking for targets, it's going to be Ladd. If you're looking for a touchdown, it's going, at least you hope, is going to be QJ. So I think you need to play it that way. I'm just going to go QJ. He's been what feels like the guy that's been scoring the most fantasy points out of that wide receiver room. So I'm just going to go with QJ there, but it's not exciting whatsoever. And the second part of that question, he says flex. Charbonnet, Laporta, or Kareem. You flex, let's say, on Laporta if he's playing. But I wonder who your other tight end is.
Yeah, you can't play Charbonnet now. So it has to be Laporta. It literally has to be.
Yeah. Sir Yeti, you took out Ben Sinnott or Sinnott, however way you say his name. It used to be Sir Yeti Ben Sinnott or Sinnott. What happened? It's probably he's not playing or what?
Yeah,
you let me know.
Good question.
Was offered Rice, Etienne, Shakira for Hill, Walker, Terry. Rice, Etienne, Shakira for Hill, Walker, Terry.
Tyreek Hill, Ken Walker, Terry McLaurin. I'm taking that side for sure. Wait. You're losing Rashee Rice, though. This is how I play this, Badaki. No, you're keeping the right side. I'm sorry, I misspoke. You're keeping the right side pretty easily. That's my bad. Etienne Walker feels like a wash.
That's what I say. Etienne Walker does feel like a wash.
And Rice over Hill right now, easily.
Rice over, yeah, and I think I would even say Shakira and Terry feels like a wash as well, low key. So I'm okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with the guy that is not struggling with any other circumstances that he can't control, and that's gonna be Rice.
Yeah.
Terry says, appreciate you though, Sir Yeti. He says, my question's in the chat.
Yeah, right underneath.
Okay, there. Just underneath. He said, trade away Hill and Ridley to get Nico, Roscoe, and Mooney. Interesting. Your team is Hurts, Hill, Godwin, Kyron, Gibbs, Kincaid, Connor. You also have Debo, Mostert, Warren.
I honestly don't
Yeah.
mind this idea.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you: if Tua comes back, you still have Tyreek over Nico, right?
Yes.
So the way I would approach this is, if my team is undefeated right now, I'm probably just keeping the Tyreek side, simply because I can probably wait a couple weeks. But if I'm 1-2 right now, then I'm probably going to go ahead and take the Nico side, because it's not that big of a downgrade when Tua's out anyway. Nico, it clearly looks like the alpha, so
Yeah.
that's how I would play it.
I'm okay to go there with you. Thank you so much for that super chat here. I'm not sure how to say your name, but we appreciate you.
Yeah.
PPR top 2. Akers if Mixon's out, Ford or Flowers. Well, if it looks like Mixon is going to play, so it
Do you
looks like
think
you
so?
would. Well, he says he's questionable. Running back ankles listed as questionable for Sunday. Suffered ankle in week 2. I think he should be. I think he'd play.
Okay.
I think he plays personally.
I low-key hope he doesn't, just because it will make my decision even more difficult in the flock league, and I just want him to be healthy.
And so, are you saying he needs to pick 2 out of these names? So one would technically be Mixon, and then we have to pick another one.
Yeah, just top 2. If Mixon is out, it would be Flowers, Akers, Ford in that order. I do like Ford this week. I just don't know how to trust that running back room. It's just been up and down, up and down. So I know Akers will be the guy if Mixon is out, because there's no Dameon Pierce. So it'd be Flowers, Akers, Ford in that order for me.
Yeah,
and if
I would
Mixon
go there for
plays, you start Flowers and Ford, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We did get a question through the website, by the way. So we will go ahead and transition just back to the website. We'll keep going back and forth. But of course, questions through the website will take priority. Otherwise, YouTube is just, pounding us with these fees that they take from us from your donations, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Also, if you haven't signed up yet, use the promo code LAND. Free trial for 7 days. You get free access to creator rankings, trade calculator, etc., and you'll get discounts on the start-sit trade questions that you can ask through the site. Shout out to Squixo, man. Appreciate you. So he's starting Rashee Rice, Malik Neighbors, Taysom Hill at tight end because Trey McBride is out. At running back, he's considering, and by the way, he filled this out perfectly. If you guys are going through the website, I know we're kind of like all learning this together. It's a cool new feature, but make sure you enter your entire team and all your options through the website. It just makes it so much better. Promo code is LAND, LAND is the promo code, guys. But let's look at RB2 here. Considering Jerome Ford, Bucky Irving, Brian Robinson, to me, this is a smash on Brian Robinson. So excited to play him this week against the Cardinals. It was a top 10 matchup. And by the way, no Austin Eckler. So Brian Robinson's going to get so many touches this week.
Yeah, I like Brian Robinson. I like both of these guys, to be completely honest with you, coming into this week. But I do have Brian Robinson higher there in my rankings.
Yeah.
I think the next question technically is the flex option. Now that's Darnell Mooney and Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I love
what can I just say, by the way? Sorry to interrupt, but if Rachaad White doesn't play, I don't see how you don't start Bucky Irving here.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think
Rachaad
White is going to play because his thing is a sickness. Like I think normally when people,
it's up in the air right now.
Yeah, when normally that happens, it's like, okay, like he's most likely going to play unless it was. When I see sickness, unless like my guy is like throwing up and he can't be on the field, then sure. But I think he's most likely going to play. But I would agree, it'll be Bucky Irving.
So let's just say that to clarify. If no Rachaad White, Bucky Irving. If Rachaad White plays, I would go Darnell Mooney here personally.
Yeah, me
I just think this could be a bad week for Drake London. I'm not saying this to
I agree.
Put anyone off Drake London. That's not my intention. It's just you have to face Lattimore. That's a tough matchup. I think Mooney could be the sneaky play this week.
I think it's just difficult to sit Jerome Ford because he's going against Vegas, and Vegas, if Chuba Hubbard can put those numbers up against Vegas, I think Jerome Ford can do that.
Can I tell you why it's difficult for me? Because I think Deonta Foreman could totally do that too. That's why it's tough.
My thing is like Deontay Foreman against the Giants last week only has 2 snaps. Like
the week before though, I think What do you notice about those two games? It's game script.
Yeah, sure. And I think in the game script, Jerome Ford could. I think yes, it's in a positive game script. Jerome Ford.
Might not be as
I,
good. That's my concern.
I think it gives him more reason. But I get what you're saying because of what we
Well, that's
saw
not
in
that's not
week
what
two.
they showed us though. Look,
Yeah.
because it is half PPR, I do kind of agree that the safe play is Jerome Ford. If it was full PPR, we would go Mooney there, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a close one.
Hopefully
We're gonna go Jerome Ford, right?
Yeah, hopefully that helps. We appreciate you though. Our
Again,
next one
guys,
that we have here.
if you do want
Go
to
ahead.
ask a question through the website, I'll put a link in the chat. Use the promo code LAND if you're creating an account for the first time. Free trial for 7 days. Also, if you use the promo code LAND, LAND, you'll get access to creator rankings for free. You'll get access to our trade calculator for free 95. Again, use a promo code LAND and you'll get all those things for free. And then,
Hey,
of course, you
it's
can
just
ask a
free.
question through the site. The
It's free.
questions are you are donating to us with the questions. But all right, we will also obviously answer some super chats. What's the next super chat? I feel like you're keeping up with the list.
Yeah, the next super chat here is Daniel Hart. We appreciate you in that super chat. He says 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and a flex. So we need to pick 4 players out of these names, and that's Tyreek Hill, Rice, Higgins, Debo, Najee, Moss, Chuba, excuse me. I think one for sure is Rice.
Yes.
I think if Debo plays, you start Debo.
Yes.
I think then it would be T. Higgins for me. And then at the flex, I'm still starting Tyreek Hill over Najee Harris, Moss, and Chuba.
Well, we got to pick one running back though.
We do have to pick one running back, so
Which-
GG's. It would be Najee then.
Okay. Be Zach Moss for me. It is close. Just love Zach
Okay.
Moss versus the Panthers. I think he's dominating that backfield, getting so many touches. So I'll just say for me, Rice, Debo if he plays, and then at flex Tyreek. If Debo doesn't play, we will flex probably Najee and then start Moss. Oh wait, sorry, Higgins and then start
Higgins,
Moss. Is
yeah.
what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks
Thanks
so
for
much
the
for
super
that
chat.
Central Mood, how you doing? He said, get Gibbs and Devonta Smith for Josh Jacobs and Wilson. My wide receivers are solid.
Is that Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, if that's Garrett Wilson, I want Josh Jacobs and Garrett Wilson.
I think I agree. Is there any concern about how long Smith might be out or no?
No, I think he is ruled out for this week, but I haven't seen any news about him. I think he was ruled out really early in the week. I don't know if he was practicing at all or what, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the rest of the season. Like I think I want Jacobs and Garrett. I do want Jacobs and Wilson rest of the season personally.
Oh, really? Okay. If I knew Devonta Smith was healthy, it'd be Gibbs for me.
Okay, that's
But
fair.
it's very close, man. It's very close. I feel
Yeah.
like Gibbs is the best running back in this deal. That's why I lean that way.
Yeah, and I think I would say Gibbs and Wilson. Technically, if you're just thinking about player and hopefully production, which I think Wilson will pick up, I think that's pretty even. And then
If
Josh
we-
Jacobs and Smith is pretty even for me.
If we redid fantasy drafts, what round is Garrett Wilson going in?
I think he still goes in like the middle. He goes in the middle second. It's not a confirmed first.
think?
He goes middle of the second right now.
Man, I don't know. Does he? I mean,
I don't think he falls into like the 3rd or 4th round. And I know that's hard because we only played 3 weeks, but I think with the context of what we know,
yeah.
it's like, okay, Garrett Wilson had a couple tough games, but he still had a good, decent floor. Not
Yeah.
where we wanted him to be, but like I think that should turn around here in a couple of weeks.
That's fair. All right, let's see. What's the next super chat from Jacob? This is Jacob's first super chat. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for donating to the channel. Very kind of you. Rashid Shaheed or Cam Akers at flex this week. Josh Downs Dobbs also available. So here's how I will play it. If there's no Mixon, this is going to be Akers for me. Obsessed with his matchup. Really am. The Jags have been awful on both sides of the ball.
Terrible.
So this would definitely be Cam Akers if no Joe Mixon. If Joe Mixon plays, it's Rashid Shaheed.
Agreed. Completely agree with you there. Thank you so much for that super chat there, Jacob. We first won.
Yeah,
Celebrate.
Tapman's next here.
Yeah, one flex, Aaron Jones, London, Mixon if he plays. For me, this is Joe Moneybag Mixon. If not, I feel like Aaron Jones is a safer play over Drake London this week, personally. but against the Packers, it's tough. He's going against his own team,
Yeah.
revenge game.
This is Mixon if he plays. If not, Aaron Jones. I agree. Thanks for the donation, Tap Man. Just guys, Drake London is totally still in play. He could overcome this matchup. I just don't want to face Lattimore if I can help it. Big Back Gamer, what's up, brother? He says start Dallas Goedert or Sam Laporta. Which if this was asked before week 1, we would be like, what are you talking about? And now it's such a real question.
I think you have to start I think you have to start Dallas Goedert.
I actually agree.
You cannot. If you're telling me at least one, let me ask you this: if Dallas Goedert had that same game and Devonta Smith was healthy, are you starting Dallas Goedert or Sam Laporta?
That would make it more difficult. But the fact that they're both out is like.
Yeah, the fact that they're both out is like holy shit. Like you
Goddard's
need to
my
start.
tight end 3 this week.
Yeah, I think you need to start Dallas Goedert here this week. As much as I
Crazy.
love Sam Laporta, but I mean, I think it also sucks. I know doesn't the Bucks have a bunch of injured players? Am I tripping there?
Vita Vea has been a little bit injured, and
I
up
know,
and
like
down. I mean, look, here's the reality. If anybody can predict, if anybody out there in the entire world can predict tight ends, they are literally
because it's
living in the future.
Devin White.
They have time
Devin
machine
White's out.
technology.
Sorry,
Devin
the
White's
reason
out.
why-
I mean, that might make this matchup worse. Devin White is terrible.
Well, I'm saying like he's out and he's a linebacker. He would normally cover Dallas Goedert. So
Yeah.
anyways,
217. We haven't skipped your super chat, brother. This is Big Back Gamer's first super chat. Just letting you know.
I apologize. I'm thinking he's actually on the Eagles, not the Bucks. He was on the Bucks. Anyways.
Okay. I see a super chat from Tracy, but no question. So Tracy, let us know. The next one is a second question from Big Back Gamer. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the double donation. He says trade Achane for DK and David Monty. This all comes down to roster construction. So, for example, are you in a start 7? I kind of lean the Achane side if Tua comes back. But overall, I just feel like there's just too much value on the DK side to not take it.
Side. I agree. And look, if Tyler Huntley is the quarterback for the Dolphins until Tua comes back, I actually think there's an argument that can hurt Achane because he's a mobile guy. But Tua's
he plays like a knockoff Lamar a little bit. But
yeah, so I wonder if he kind of pulls that now more RPOs and Daniels.
If you watch the Eagle games,
though,
these targets are mostly scripted. He's in motion, moving
100%.
left or right, and they're getting him the ball straight away. It's not so much dump offs. There's definitely some dump offs, but it's a lot of scripted stuff. Here's what I'll say: if I knew that Tua was back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think he is when he can come back. 3 weeks, is that right?
Something like that.
Then I would probably stick with Achane. And he says it's start 8. But I don't know that to be true. And DK and David Montgomery are both popping off. So you might have a chance to trade David Montgomery for, more value at some point because he is consistently on a very good offense. I'm going to get the DK and David Montgomery side, but it's very close.
I'm there with you there. Thank you so much for that super chat. 217 Frags, how you doing? He says star 3, Wilson, Ayuk, Olave, Jacobs, Pickens. Well, if Olave plays, it's Ayuk, Olave, and then for me, it's Jacobs. But if Olave doesn't play, this will be Wilson, Ayuk, Jacobs.
Yeah. This is a really tough one, I would say.
Because I know George Pickens has an interesting matchup, but I'm still not.
No, he's not in play for me. It's the other names that are in play.
Sure.
I almost feel like if you're in this position, you kind of want Olave not to play, so you don't have to think about it if you make the wrong decision.
Yeah, for sure.
But to me, this would be Ayuk, Jacobs, Wilson. I would not play Olave. This was even before the ranking or the injury. But very close. Very close.
Yeah.
You can make an argument that Atlanta secondary is one of the best in the league right now as well. They're
I mean, Bates, Justin Simmons, like it's a tough matchup. Yeah, like they're it's not easy matchup.
Well, the game versus Kansas City, I mean, that I know they lost, but that to me said this team's legit. How they played versus Kansas City, this team
Yeah, they're
definitely
great.
should make the
I think they're a
playoffs.
good team. I think
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, it's just the ball's not bouncing their way in some points. It sounds, even though that's like a metaphor, you know, like if it wasn't a flag or if it wasn't this, it's
Yeah.
just one-off plays. Like they can definitely clean up and they can be contenders for sure.
Yeah.
Tracy, thank you so much for the super chat. This is full PPR, Dave Montgomery or Brian Robinson. For me, this is Monty for sure. I don't know about you.
Ah.
I love Brian Robinson, no doubt about it. I'm still starting David Montgomery over him, even with Austin Eckler out. I do like it though.
Yeah, they're back to back in my rankings. Running back 15 versus running back 16. It's as close as it gets this week for me with these two. Brian Robinson is going to get so much work. And if we're talking about good offenses, Washington hasn't punted for 2 weeks. What if this is a Jahmyr Gibbs game? Oh, that is so difficult, Tracy. That's a great question. It really is. Wow. You know what was weird? Like, how they used Monty last week was so interesting. He was like their workhorse. 26 carries. Did you notice that?
Yeah, but I did.
And no targets to Jahmyr Gibbs. Sorry, 26 touches, including 3 targets. No targets to Jahmyr Gibbs. That was so weird.
I wonder if they just knew they can play bully ball. Like, I'm more
Yeah.
physical than you to Arizona. I feel like that was. I think this game script, you know, like, is their front four good enough, respectfully, to the Cardinals to stop a power back like Monty?
Well, it's funny you say that because guess who
was it
Brian
speed?
Robinson plays this week? The Cardinals.
Yeah, yeah. Or is it speed, where Gibbs can beat you in speed, but maybe the Cardinals have the speed, but not the power. You know, I haven't watched it as in depth as that, but I would still go Monty here. I think they play at home. It's a home game against Seattle. This should be a high scoring game. We all both know that at least Monty has scored a touchdown in all 3 of his games.
So is Brian.
Yeah, and there you go. And
That's why I'm finding it difficult because most arguments we're making for one is the same for the other. Well, Brian actually didn't score in week 2. That's my bad versus the Giants. I thought he did, but he didn't. Oh, I guess I'll go Montgomery. It's so close, though. It really is. It's a great question. I really do think it's a great question.
Maybe you should start both. I wonder who's the other running back. Maybe you have somebody that we're not willing to start over Brian Robinson or Monty Tracy.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an easier decision. I don't know. Maybe you have a Tony Pollard or James Conner or Zach Moss or Travis Etienne. Anyways,
Omar. Heads up, by the way, guys, we are answering super chats. If there's a point of the stream where we don't have people donating and there's no questions through the site, of course, we'll get to the regular questions. But hopefully, you guys can understand if people are donating. Of course, we're going to take time and answer theirs first. Heads up, you can ask a question through our website. It's a great experience for you, and then YouTube doesn't take a whole bunch of our money from your donation. So check that out. It's also a free sign up. Use the promo code LAND. When you use the code LAND, you'll get access to our trade calculator for free, expert rankings for free every week. It's really an incredible resource. Even if you don't use the website, go create an account for free, use the promo code LAND, and then because you use our code, you're going to get free access to our rankings, the trade calculator, it's league analyzer. It's really great. Omar's next super chat, though. Yeah.
By the way, just really interesting thought here. Tracy has Gibbs and David Montgomery and Brian Robinson. Does that change it for you, out of curiosity? It probably makes it harder, but I was just...
No, that does make it more difficult.
Because now you're thinking of like, okay, then ceiling could be capped.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, if you play it this way and you're like, well, I already have Gibbs. I don't want too much of that backfield. And then you play Brian Robinson, and then it's a Montgomery game, and Gibbs doesn't, So it's like
I think
you're playing 4D chess, but you're actually playing checkers potentially.
I just think like you have two top 15 running backs on your team. You have to start him. As much as I love Brian Robinson, he's just outside of that. He's been great, and he's been averaging, I think, what, 12
I just
to 13
think
points.
that removes context being Austin Eckler isn't playing at all.
No, I understand. Yeah, and I completely understand that. I just think the floor, from what we've seen out of the first 3 weeks, has been safe for a backfield that has been shared with Gibbs and Monty,
Yeah.
with or without
I'm
Austin
going
Eckler.
Montgomery, but I don't feel good about it, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Anyways,
Um,
hopefully that helps. Omar,
yeah, let's get to this super chat. Go ahead.
a full PPR, Akers or Roscoe. This would be Akers if Mixon doesn't play. If not, your answer probably is going to be Roscoe.
Oh, that's a tough spot to be in. You better hope Akers is a starter.
And then Keenan or Moore. For me, this would be DJ Moore still.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Sorry, I'm just thinking about
okay.
starting Cole Kmet and not wanting Keenan Allen to play in
That's
the Flock
okay.
League. We did get a
we did get one
question
Okay, yeah,
through the
nice.
website. Yeah, so shout out to Little Saucy.
little saucy, baby. Come on,
Here.
talk it up.
Appreciate you,
All
Little
right.
Saucy. So appreciate you for signing up. Again, guys, if you want your question answered through the website, it's a great way to skip the queue. It's a great way to support the show. And if you sign up, you don't have an account yet, use the code LAND. That will get you free access to our rankings, free access to the trade calculator, and of course, discounts on these type of questions. So
Yeah. Great start up here.
let's pretty much
break it down.
start his
Everyone.
entire roster, starting at quarterback. Lamar
Yeah.
or Jaden. Gotta
For
be
me,
Lamar.
this would be Lamar Jackson. Yeah, for sure.
Let's go to running back next. So he's got, well, this is
That's-
great.
This
We
is
can start
great. Here we go.
Brian
Come on.
And
Brian
we can
Monty.
start David Montgomery. Perfect.
Here we go. Look, we got there at the end.
And by the way, Lil Saucy filled out his question perfectly because he filled out his entire team. He gave us all of his options, and it just makes it so easy for us to answer your question really well. At wide receiver, we're starting Nico. We are starting Marvin.
Marvin.
And then at flex, it's probably
that's
Brandon
going
Ayuk.
to be Brandon Ayuk. Yes, Brandon Ayuk or Jackson Smith and Jigba out of those two. But for me, it will be Ayuk still.
I almost feel like Kittle coming back in a weird way. I feel like it helps Ayuk.
Yeah, it helps everyone really, even Debo. Honestly, I think they all help each other in weird ways.
There's like this narrative that like, oh, they're all out, so Ayuk's gonna go crazy. Well, no, the defense is just like, that's the guy we need to stop, and we can win the game, and they did win the game. So, yeah, this was fun to answer, Little Saucy. I appreciate you. That's a great lineup as well. Wow, it's a 10-team league,
Saucy.
but that's a great lineup. Well done.
Get saucy, little saucy.
All right. If you want to ask a question through the website, I'll put a link in there. Again, use the code LAND to create a free account. Code LAND is going to get you free access to our expert rankings, as well as the trade calculator, league analyzer, all of that and more. And you can ask a question through the site. Otherwise, we are answering super chats as well.
Yeah. And the next question here on YouTube is from Bentley. He says PPR pick 2 running backs, 2 flex. So 4 players out of this. Monty Pollard, Ramondre Pollard, or Monty. I'm assuming David Montgomery. This will be Pollard and David Montgomery, and then you start Ayuk and Olave if Olave plays. If not, you know your answer if Olave plays. You start Ramondre, Pollard, Monty, and Ayuk.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm gonna talk to the devs real quick, but I'm with you. I agree.
Sure. John Hargraves, how you doing, brother? He said, "What's going on, my guys? Should I start Bucky Irving over Garrett Wilson if Rashad White doesn't play?" And I would say yes. I wonder if Zach will say yes to this, but I would say yes if Rashad White doesn't play. But at the moment, I think since it's an illness, I do believe he will play unless it's just like a really bad like stomach bug. My guy's throwing up and can't stay off the toilet.
I think just to chime in, I do love Bucky, but I think I would just throw Garrett in there just because he's also dealing with a hamstring injury. So he is a great play, but if you have a name like Garrett, I would find it tough not to just play him. But I definitely get where you're coming from.
And I understand that. And you obviously you have to make your own decisions. But I think if you're telling me that Bucky's going to get all that workload in that backfield and you just need a safe floor, maybe Bucky can give you that. But Garrett Wilson does bring that tough ceiling, but he also is going against Patrick Surtain this week, which also makes this difficult. But we appreciate that super chat there, John. Next is, I'm not sure how to say your name, but I don't see the question. But I did see that you did drop another super chat here, which let's get to that.
Let's get to that, yeah, because he donated twice on accident.
He said thoughts on Wandale. Well, I dropped him before the game to pick up Lockett. Oh no, I'm in PPR. I think we both would have told you. I mean, at least I would have told you to start Wandale over Lockett this week.
Well, yes, I did. I didn't. I wouldn't have told someone to start Wandale because there's just not enough evidence to start him with confidence. He was a fine option in deeper formats, but I definitely would have told someone to start him over Lockett.
Over Lockett, yeah, exactly.
So that's tough. I mean, to be honest, I don't really believe Lockett is ever going to be a name that you can play with any confidence. I mean, he'll be an option every once in a while. He'll have a good game, but I just don't think he'll be a name that you can start.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, sorry, brother. I mean, hopefully you can pick him up off of waiver wires, but maybe there's somebody on waiver wires that you can pick up. I can think of a Darnell Mooney. I would rather start over Lockett. A Michael Wilson. I don't know if the likes of a DeAndre Hopkins is out there. I doubt he's available on waiver wires, but those are the kind of names. I mean, maybe would you start Jacoby Myers over Tyler Lockett this week? I think I would if he's available on waiver wires.
Absolutely.
Michael
Wilson.
Yeah, I said Michael Wilson already.
Okay,
Rashid Shaheed, which I doubt he's available.
Yeah.
Would you start Xavier Leggett over Tyler Lockett with no Adam Thielen?
I think I would, just because I like to party.
Because I like to party. Those are some quick names that we can give you that you could potentially start over the likes of Tyler Lockett if he is available. Maybe even, I don't know if this is too deep. That's what she said. Calvin Austin.
Son.
Would you do Calvin Austin against the Colts?
No.
That once again, what about Jahan Dotson?
No. Just out of principle, I refuse to play Jahan Dotson.
Once again, just to throw some names out there, maybe they're available on your waiver wires if you do need some help. But those are a couple of names that we will potentially start over the likes of Tyler Lockett because we just haven't seen it from what we like. But we appreciate that super chat, and I apologize.
Mm-hmm. You apologize.
I apologize to the Dennis family. I know this is a family-friendly stream. Maybe the kids are watching. I'm sorry, Dennis family. We appreciate you.
Yikes. Man,
you were gonna say
our PR team is gonna go off on us as if we have one. All right, a little update from Jeremy Fowler on Chris Olave. Consider game time decision. There's some optimism, but team needs to monitor leading up to kickoff. This literally is nothing new. I don't know why they. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. People just be tweeting things and tweet things. The next one is from
the Dennis family.
The Dennis
we appreciate
family, yes.
you. How you doing, Jameson Williams, Odunze, or Braylon Allen in the flex? For me, I feel like Jameson is just the better play this week with Keenan Allen coming back.
You think so?
I do think so. I would say this. I do have Odunze higher in my rankings. And I don't think I have adjusted Odunze now that Keenan Allen is playing. But my rankings say Odunze, my heart and my gut says Jameson Williams. I don't know if that's going to help you at all. Maybe Zach can help you there.
I just love the matchup for Odunze. I'm a huge fan of it, but if Keenan plays, it makes things super messy. It really does. It makes. I mean, they were already. I mean, if I look at my rankings and I go to wide receiver, I have Jameson at 29. I have Odunze at 28.
Oh, wow.
It's literally back to back, and here's the concern: if Keenan plays, what is Odunze's upside? But I believe, let me double check on this. I believe that the Rams are giving up, I think, top 5 points to outside wide receivers, which is where, yeah.
The Rams currently give up the second most points, but yes, I mean, if you want to say look at that specifically,
if you look specifically at wide receivers who play out wide, there is no team in the NFL giving up more fantasy points.
Well, there you go.
Than the Rams. So we know Odunze doesn't play in the slot. I think I'm going Rome Odunze, which is a really tough question. It really is. Big Back Gamer with another donation. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the love. He says, Scary Terry or Rome Odunze. I'm going Rome. Kind of just made the case for him just then, right? So it would be the same case. Great matchup. They don't have anybody who can match up with these guys on the outside either. So could this be the Caleb Williams breakout game? Could it be?
Could this be? Could it be?
We did get a question through the website.
Okay.
So we will go to that first here. If you guys want a question answered through our website, it's a great experience for you. If you don't have an account yet, use a promo code LAND. That would get you free access to expert rankings, trade calculator, league analyzer, and discounts off of these start-sit questions. Shane Anderson, longtime supporter of Fantasyland, Kingdom Builder, you could call him, and asking a question here. It's a 2-quarterback, 10-team start 9 league. Let's start with running back. So this is going to be pretty easy at running back. Derrick Henry and James Cook. I know we're on the same page there. At tight end, are you going to start Isaiah Likely or Brenton Strange?
Well, Strange fell in the end zone last week.
Did he?
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure unless he got called back. No, he did.
Wow, what the? He did.
He did. He had 5 targets. I think he had more targets than Likely. Let me just triple check. Let me triple check that before I put my foot in my mouth.
Kind of mental.
He did have more targets than Likely, and that was against a tough defense in Buffalo. I think that's going to be the same thing in Houston. I would imagine that game script was that this offense is going to be down and early against Houston playing away. I'm going to go Brendan Strange there.
Wow.
Likely has a tough matchup against Buffalo, but I guarantee you the first thing that defense is going to look at is stopping Derrick Henry and then the tight end position, respectfully to Zay Flowers. But I don't know. That's where I'm going. That's what my heart says.
Yeah, I still have to put Strange or Likely out there. Sorry. I still have to play Likely personally. I get the rationale behind it. I can totally understand it. But just knowing that his upside is a 30-point game, it's just... that's not Britain's upside in my opinion. So I'm going to go Likely. Why you'd say Strange.
Would you start Tyler Conklin over Likely this week? Out of curiosity. Just because of Garrett Wilson's tough matchup, et cetera, et cetera?
Maybe. They're in the same tier. They are.
Okay.
They really are.
That's the only reason why I said that, because maybe he's available on waiver wires. What about Dalton Schultz that doesn't have Tank Dell?
It's like all these tight ends, it's like, who the fudge knows? Respectfully, who in the world knows? The only person who knows are the people who are actual time travelers, and they've come back.
He knows.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
Maybe he does.
Wide receiver, we are going to start Marvin Harrison for sure. We're going to start Jaden Reed for sure. We are going to start... Then it gets tough. I think you got to still throw Calvin out there.
Yeah,
wouldn't play Kirk over him, but wouldn't be surprised if Michael Wilson's the right call, but I think I'm going to go Calvin.
Yeah, I think if Kirk does have a game like he had this past week, I think maybe Christian Kirk is back.
Yeah.
But, my guy had 10 targets last week, so...
A lot of that, it's confusing now because of Mac Jones being in and the way he targeted players, so... But let's look at the flex here. You might as well throw Kirk in at the flex, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I do think Michael Wilson's close, though.
I was going to even argue for Chuba if Chuba's going to have another game like that.
Actually, that's a really good point. I would find it hard not to play Chuba here, now that I'm thinking about this a little bit more.
Going against the Bengals this week. Bengals have been
26 touches last week, which is unrealistic to expect again, but knowing that that's a possibility, I actually think I would go Chuba.
Yeah, I think. Oh man. I would go Chuba as well, just based off of the targets in the air, not the touches on the ground. I think we have to bring those touches down, maybe more to like 12 to 14, and then maybe he gets 4 touches in the air. I feel like that's pretty realistic. Outside of the 26 touches he had this past
Yeah,
week,
no,
maybe we need
26 touches isn't going to happen again, but the offense looks way better. He's a clear dude in that backfield. I think it's a volume play on what is a better offense than it was with Bryce Young.
Yeah, hopefully that helps. We appreciate you though, Mr. Anderson. I like to call you Mr. Anderson.
Thanks, Shane.
We really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the support on the website and just in general. Back to the super chats on YouTube. And
Yes.
the next super chat I can see here is Just Chrome.
Just
He says
Blaze?
Texans, Just Blaze, Texans elevated a running back from practice squad, Mixon likely out. I would say that could potentially be a just in case because Damian Pierce is
That's what I
not
was going to say. That's a good point.
is not available. So for example, if Mixon does play and Mixon doesn't get the full workload and then maybe Cam Akers goes down, then at least they have a just in case type of player off the practice squad. But
yeah, I kind of agree. But it's a possibility both ways.
yeah,
Really, it is.
Exactly. It's a possibility both
could
ways. So we need to wait and
many,
see.
many things.
Yeah, let's wait and see what that looks like. Once we get that confirmed report, if he's going to play. He says hook 'em horns. One flex, Kelsey, Waddle, or Christian Kirk. Still going to monitor Mixon, but looks like unlikely. For me, this is going to be Kelsey. I don't like it. I don't love it. I hate it actually, but I'm going Travis Kelsey. I think.
I would agree. One thing I will say, Rashee Rice.
Richie Rich.
What Mahomes is saying right now in interviews, and he's basically saying, "Look, we are still putting Kelsey heavily in the game plan, but teams are still double, triple teaming him. Teams can't do that anymore. You got to think about Rashee Rice now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
the defensive
time is gonna come.
Assignments have got to change. I think Kelsey's time is coming. I couldn't tell you if it's this week, but
I don't want it to be this week. I'm going against Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes. Please, Lord, not this week. Again, the flock league. I'm going against Bush. I want it to happen because I have Kelsey in other leagues, but just not this week.
Do it again, Lord.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kelsey.
Hook 'em horns. We buy homes near you. He's actually in Texas. We know that 512 is in Texas. Non-PPR, specifically Austin, by the way. Non-PPR start one tight end, likely commit Schultz, Ertz, or Conklin. We kind of had this conversation. I think Zach is still going to go likely. I actually believe.
Would you not go commit here?
Not with all the guys back. No.
No.
I love Komet. I think there's more of an argument for likely and Conklin over Komet this week.
Okay.
And the reason why I keep bringing up Conklin is because this is a really tough matchup for Garrett Wilson, and I can just see Aaron Rodgers. We saw him being utilized last week on Thursday night, and is that going to happen again? Probably not, but yeah. I would just say that I'm going likely still, but I do believe Conklin could outscore any of these guys. Basically, what I'm trying to say.
I hear ya.
And 2 flex. You let me know. Tony Pollard, and for me, this is Jaden Reed. Gosh, this is a lot of good starters, by the way. We buy home. I mean, Deontay Johnson.
I'm going
Etienne, London Reed.
Komet here if Keenan doesn't play. If he does, then I guess we will go Conklin as well. And then, likely.
I'm going likely, yeah.
Probably likely, yeah.
And then I would agree with you though. Like if Keaton is out, I'll go commit with you with confidence. Yeah.
And then, wow, you can only flex 2 of these names. Who did you say?
I said Pollard and Reed.
Wow.
This is non PPR as well.
Right.
So actually, not
a little less interesting.
Yeah, non PPR for sure would be Pollard, and I think Reed. The fact that he gets those end arounds.
Yeah.
Jet sweeps and stuff. I'm gonna go Jaden Reed, but hopefully that helps. We buy homes. We appreciate that super chat. Joe Castles, Joey Castles, I like to say. Trade CMC, Javonte Williams, and Moss for Nico. I have CMC, yes or no?
Is that
I
Jameson
think,
Williams or Javonte Williams? That's crucial to the answer.
I mean, that's true. My first reaction would say, what are your other running backs looking like? Do you have CMC and you telling me you have James Cook and Aaron Jones? I'm okay to do that for Nico. You telling me you have like a Derrick Henry and like I don't know a Jordan Mason because you picked them up off of waiver wires or James Conner? Like I think there's so much context there that I need to know. I need to know your running backs. I need to know. I just need to know your running backs. I need to know that every single running back that you have rostered because if CMC is somebody that you're trading away and you telling me you have a Zach Moss or
The
you
reports on
know
CMC are so confusing.
yeah, if you have a Jerome Ford, a Devin Singletary, a DeAndre Swift, I'm saying I might as well just keep CMC and just hope he comes back. But if you're telling me
If that's Javonte Williams, I'll take the Collins side of this deal. I just feel like he's by far the best player right now. If that's Jameson, I'd probably keep CMC side.
yeah, I think it just depends. If you let me ask you this: Are you doing this trade? Let's say you have an Aaron Jones and a Brian Robinson. Are you trading away CMC for Nico Collins with that running back room?
Yeah, because I think right
What
now,
about
rest of the season, Nico would be the number one ranked player in this deal.
what about James Conner? We'll switch one of those running backs for James Conner.
Yeah, I'd still do
Switch.
it. I mean, I think that for me, everything is what Jay Williams that is.
What Jay Williams that is. Hopefully that helps, Joey. Let us know
I'm just gonna
if you're still here.
drain the dragon, but you got Steven's question next.
Yeah, no worries. Steven Drakes. How you doing, brother? We really appreciate this super chat, man. It says half PPR. Do we start Akers or Ford? For me, this would be Cam Akers if Joe Mixon is not out, but if not, you would know your answer if Joe Mixon plays. Also, if Debo plays, do we trust him? And do we trust Walker this week? I personally do trust Debo Samuel to play, or to play him. I think he normally is going to come back, and since the injury is, if I'm not mistaken, is hamstring. I think there's so many hamstring injuries this year. I just feel like there's more than. I feel like the last year was all ankles. Oh, this is calf. So I think if he's geared to play, I think he will play. So I personally will be starting him if I have him. And the same thing has to be said with Kenneth Walker. You kind of have to start your stars. And that's the thing that we like to say here. If your stars are playing, you kind of have to start them unless there's other information or if a report comes out that Debo Samuel is going to be limited. Same thing with Kenneth Walker. I think you start him with some confidence there. Joey Castle, he says Titans or Dolphins or Broncos defense. I think this is where Zach and I kind of see a little bit differently. I would personally be going Dolphins, then Titans, and then Broncos. I think Zach will actually go Titans, then Dolphins potentially.
Yeah,
but,
I would. I just don't. I don't know how. I just don't understand playing the Dolphins. I guess Levis is going to turn the ball over, but
I think that's
what
we're all
what do we see from last week that tells us the Dolphins are a good start? I don't know. I could totally be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's not
like
about
if that
what the
offense
Dolphins
can't move the ball at all, it doesn't matter. Like if they can't move the ball at all, your defense is constantly going to be on the field. I don't like it.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Appreciate you there, Joey Castle. The next question is,
like I said,
Spencer.
I do get it because it's Will Levis. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy puts mayonnaise in his coffee, so.
Hi, PPR.
By the way, sorry.
Uh-huh.
I'll stop talking, but this is basically Carson Wentz, is it not?
What are you talking about? Like Will Levis is Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
Sure.
Is it not the same thing as Colts fans watching Carson Wentz?
I guess. I don't see. I guess I don't see it, but
Feels like
I don't know.
the same thing to me.
By the way, I'm seeing a tweet here.
Congrats, man.
No, congrats. It says Ryan Williams, who is 17 years old, just going crazy in Alabama. I can't believe I'm not that I can't believe, but this kid's 17 years old and he's doing this. Do you know who I'm
Ryan
talking
Williams,
about?
you talking about the wide receiver for Bama?
Yeah. I said
Yeah,
there's a couple of 17-year-olds in college football that would be first-round picks. Ryan Williams, and he catches the ball and just makes a guy miss against Georgia's defense. And I don't know college football guys, but historically, Georgia's defense has been pretty good.
yeah, this is the play here.
My guy is doing it dirty.
He's good
Ooh.
route. Like,
And he's
3
17 years
fakes.
old?
Yeah. It
I
looks
mean,
nice. Looks nice with it.
Yeah, he does look nice. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out because I saw that on Twitter just then. I got a notification.
Young Rula. By the way, guys, if you do want to ask a question, like super chat definitely is an option. We would ask you to consider doing it through our website instead. If you do want to donate, there's no wrong way to donate, but through the website, it's going to benefit you more. It's a better experience for you. And also for us, YouTube just takes so much of that donation away from us when you do donate. Last thing I'll say is if you don't have a membership yet, sign up for a free account with the code LAND. That's going to get you free access to creator rankings, to expert rankings, consensus. It'll get you free access to the league analyzer, as well as the trade calculator. So check that out. We've had a lot of questions through the site today, which is awesome, but we are still answering super chats. And if there's no super chats or website questions, the normal ones as well. Young Rula, I think, is the next super chat, though.
Spencer? We didn't answer Spencer. Sorry.
Okay, my bad.
Jawan Jennings or Jacoby Myers. I think we both go Jacoby here. You let me know.
Yeah, definitely Jacoby. Look, Jawan could be a play, but if Debo's going to be there and Kittle, I think he goes to be like the 4th or 5th option again.
Yeah, I completely agree there. Young Rula, thank you so much for that super chat. He says start 2, have PPR, Yoshi, Zamir White, Waddle, Christian Kirk. I'm not starting Zamir White. I'll tell you that for a fact.
I don't know how much I even want to roster him at this point. It's rough.
I know.
What do you think?
For me, is Yoshi and Waddle.
Yeah.
I think
Kirk? Yoshi over Kirk?
I think Christian Kirk, I need to see it again. I think we've seen it for the past 2 weeks for Yandre Yeshivas.
I'm still going to throw Kirk out there. I think Higgins is still the number 2.
Did you see T. Higgins say, like, don't start him?
For me.
T. Higgins said don't start. You see that thing that T. Higgins said don't start him in fantasy?
I thought that was funny. Like
yeah,
to me,
I thought so too. I'm not starting Yoshi because of that. I'm just saying, like, yeah.
I'll never interact with a NFL player like that. I'll never talk to them about fantasy. I just can't do it. I just know they don't give a fuck. Like.
Yeah. Some players do though. I feel like some players, like,
if they come out and say I care, like Austin Eckler.
Have you seen?
Of course, I'll talk to him about fantasy. But
have you seen like players that like they like, oh, I had, like, it would be like mic'd up. It's like, oh, I had you on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And like they get all hyped about it. So I think they do play. I just don't know if some teams allow them to talk about it. I wonder if that's like written in their contract. Like, hey, you can play fantasy football, that you're not like doing all this money stuff, but let's keep on the low. I don't know. Maybe.
Tim Brooks with the next donation. I appreciate you, man. He says, my goats, y'all my go-to. I appreciate you, Tim. He says, I traded CMC and Dell for Olave and Montgomery. Traded CMC and Dell for Olave and Montgomery. I'm not a huge fan of this one.
Okay, start. Okay.
I think the only way you win this trade is if CMC is out another 5 weeks. If he comes back in 2 weeks, I don't think you're gonna like this trade. Disagree? Agree? I mean, you did get 2 startable names with 2 players that you can't start right now. So that, in that sense, like short term, you're gonna love it, I think.
I think for what's really hurting for me, or what I'm struggling with, is like, okay, CMC, I think the risk is there to like him trading him away, and I think Monty is a safe floor. I just don't love the wide receiver that you got in return in Olave. I've never been a big Chris Olave fan. coming into this year, and I know he just had his big game. But if that Chris Olave could have been, I mean, according to this, maybe a DK Metcalf, a Brandon Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, I doubt you could have gotten. But I think I just needed more security on that wide receiver side, knowing that I'm tearing down so much from CMC to Monty. I would have been okay with it. But maybe that's my bias on what I believe Chris Olave is going to be, and he's injured. And I love Dell, and I've obviously readjusted my rankings there, but
yeah, I just feel
I get what Zach's saying. Like, if CMC does come back in 2 weeks, you want CMC every day over Olave and Monty.
Yeah. The next part of the question is start Reed or Mixon Akers. This would be Reed if Akers is playing. If Mixon, I think I'm starting Mixon over Reed.
Yeah, I have to agree there. I love Jaden Reed though. Yes, I have to agree.
He says, and Metcalf, Jacoby, or Flowers at the flex. We gotta go Metcalf.
I mean,
look, Metcalf is totally a name that can be boom or bust, but you gotta play him to get the boom games, and unfortunately there will be some busts, but it's a good matchup. It certainly is a good matchup.
I agree.
By the way, guys, I don't know what I was gonna say. Safe and sound is the next question here. It says, lineup help please. Mahomes, Dowdle, White, Flowers, Amon-Ra, Kelsey, Mooney, benches, Addison, Akers, Brown, Tank, Madison, Joe, Mixon, and Rashid Shaheed. Well, you can't take Dowdle out now. Now, if Joe Mixon plays, we're playing him over Rashad White.
Yeah.
And even if Joe Mixon doesn't play, I'm playing Cam Akers over Rashad White. Both ways. So I'm not going to put Rashad White over a starting Mixon or a starting Akers. And then at your flex, between Mooney, Addison. Are you going Addison or Mooney there? That's really my question.
I'm going Mooney over Addison. I think the bigger question is, what sounds crazy, Shaheed or Mooney if Chris Olave doesn't play.
Ooh, yeah, Shaheed's got to be the answer if Olave's not out there.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to rock with Rashid over Mooney.
A lot of context needed to answer that one, I'd say. So,
yeah. Brandon, thank you so much for the super
safe
chat.
And sound, by the way.
Start one, Monty Ford, Cooper, full PPR. Full PPR, this would be Cooper. I think it's actually really close with David Montgomery. I think both of these guys needs to start. Maybe you're like in a start 8 or something, or in the start 8, a 10-man or 8-man.
Yeah,
I'm going to Amari Cooper just based off the matchup. Playing the Raiders. The Raiders have been struggling. Give me the Raiders. But I feel like you need to start Monty as well.
Cooper as well. It's so close, but in a PPR format,
Joey Castle
receptions just make me lean him. By the way, what is going on with hamstrings this year?
Dude, hamstrings and calves. I was saying that. I was like, I feel like it's been calves and hamstrings all year this year, where last year, I'm pretty sure it was ankle. It was like ankle and...
We figure the hamstring stuff out? I mean, do you need to wear compression sleeves on your hamstrings to stop this from happening? What do you need to do? Someone figure it out. It's really annoying. Joe Castles is the next one, right?
It says running backs are Mason, Stevenson, Brian Robinson, and Roshan and Moss, and it is Jameson Williams. So that was his other question up top there, where he said,
"Keep that side then."
CMC. So it was CMC, Jameson Williams, and Moss for Nico Collins.
Yeah, no. See, what I'd rather do is I'd rather use a name like Brian Robinson, Ramondre Stevenson, Jordan Mason. I'd rather trade Jordan Mason away in that deal, and just start Stevenson, Brian for now, and Moss if I need to. I like the structure of the deal. I don't like that CMC is the name there.
Yeah, and you could package Mason with Jameson and then get Nico in return and see if that's going to work. Or what you can do, why don't you then package CMC and Mason? If you want, you can throw in Jameson, get Nico Collins, and then see what else he can get you in return. By the way, Joey, I know you donate often. Try the website, man, because we can definitely help you maybe even more in depth if you use that website link, so we can know what that other team has on his roster.
If you guys are common super chatters, first off, thank you. Very kind to donate to the channel. But secondly,
regardless,
definitely give the
appreciate
website a try. I mean, it truly is a better experience for you guys. Our developers have been working overtime to make it such a good experience. But you don't have to be a member to ask a question. You can sign up, use the code LAND, LAND, to get a free 7-day free trial. You'll get free expert rankings. You'll get access to the trade calculator, league analyzer. All that's for free. And then you can ask a question through the website. It looks so much better. It's a better experience for you.
Yeah.
And also, YouTube doesn't take 30% of your donation away from us. So
Yeah, it's really just to help you a little bit more, Joey. Right? Like you donated twice. Technically you could save some money, and then we can then give you some more opportunities there on who you can trade options. But we appreciate the super chats regardless.
very
Hopefully
kind.
that helps. Thank you so much. The next super chat is from Safe and Sound. It says, "Do I trade away Kelsey and St. Brown for a good running back?" I mean, that good running back needs to be
no way.
one of the. Yeah, I mean, if I'm doing that, it needs to be like.
How many running backs are you taking over Amon-Ra in the NFL right now in fantasy? I think maybe one.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it has to be
Saquon?
it has to be Saquon. It's probably three: Saquon, Brees, or Bijan. Like, I need to get one of those three. But
I think I'd take Amon-Ra over Bijan and Brees though, in a redraft right now.
Yeah, in a redraft. In a redraft, I would agree. Sure, right now, but I think Amon-Ra technically has been living up to expectation, even though he had a good
outside of week
2
one.
games
He's
this
been
past week.
everything you wanted him to be.
You actually so right. You actually so right. I'll take that back. I would agree. You probably need to get Saquon Barkley. If not, probably nothing else.
If a trade hit my inbox and I would get Kelsey St. Brown for Saquon, I would have a hard time saying no, because I'm potentially getting an upgrade at tight end. So I don't know. That's tough. He says I have this is one more super chat here. He says I have Shaheed and flex. No Olave. Shaheed is a go. Yeah. If there's no Olave, Shaheed's definitely a play.
Yeah, I would agree.
It would change rankings significantly. It would also make Derek Carr unplayable, I think.
Yeah, I just dropped Derek Carr and I picked up Jordan Love. If I picked up Justin Fields, if Jordan Love wasn't a go, so
the amount of teams that need quarterbacks in the flock league, I was shocked Fields was out there. I mean, I'm already chilling with my quarterbacks, but I'm surprised you got Justin, to be honest.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised as well. Once I saw that Olave news, I was like, if he's not playing, at least that was my expectation at the time.
What's weird is there's only Justin Fields had 6 yards last week on the ground as a rusher. That's weird. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. All right, those are all the super chats for now. Do you want to go to some team reviews?
Yeah, let's do these team reviews here.
Why don't we answer like 10 normal questions? All right. And I'll go to the top of the screen, whatever I can see. If you want to get your team reviewed, same link, okay? Let's answer 10 questions that are normal. The first one I can see is from David. Read Deontay Higgins. I'm going Deontay Johnson here.
I'm going Jaden Reed here.
Okay, Jake says Wilson, Ridley, or Myers. Already have Bowers in the tight end spot.
I'm going Wilson. Yeah.
Gabriel says was Tyreek and Jacobs for DK and ETN a good trade? I got the Tyreek side.
Tyreek and Jacobs for DK and ETN.
When and if 2 was back, you stole that deal then?
Yes. And if not, 2 doesn't come back,
you lost it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
It's just true. It's just still true. Anyways,
I'm laughing at the username. One quarterback, Baker, Fields, Watson, or Minshew. I'm going to go Baker there.
Baker. Yeah, Baker.
Jay Bleasy says flex 1, Mooney, Wilson, Brian Thomas. I'm going Garrett Wilson.
Garrett will still agree.
Hunter May says I just traded away Olave for Ayuk and Jonathan Brooks in a 10-man PPR. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think I'd have Ayuk over Olave rest of the season anyway, so
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks in the comeback, that's awesome, man.
Ford or Etienne?
Yeah, agreed.
Judy or
Sam
Laporta? Yeah, probably Laporta.
Sam
How about Ladd?
This would be Ladd.
It's close though, yeah. Is Shaheed to start over Olave? Yeah, if Olave's out. Laporta or the Rams tight ends? No. We'll go Laporta.
Agreed.
Ertz are likely. I think likely is the upside play. Ertz is a safe play, so play that however you want. Ian says Ramondre, Steele, Patterson. I'm going Ramondre.
Yep.
We'll do one more here before we go to the website. Jason says full PPR pick 2, Jason, Worthy, McLaurin, Addison, Deontay. Thanks. For me, this is Deontay and
And
JSN.
JSN. Agreed.
All right, on the
Completely
same page there. Hey, guys, if you want your question answered, check out our website. You can sign up for a free membership with the promo code LAND. You'll get expert rankings. You'll get the trade calculator, get the league analyzer. But we do have a couple people who purchase team reviews. So we are going to take some time and review their teams. We actually have 3 team reviews. Did someone else sign up? Okay.
I only see 2 right now. I'm going to refresh.
Oh, you only see 2?
No, I just refreshed. I see 3 now.
Okay. All right,
Someone
let's
did
start
just sign
with
up.
TJ Graft. This is a team review from TJ Graft. So this
Awesome, man.
is
Thank you so much.
1 quarterback, 12 team, start 8. It's a PPR and there's no tight end premium. Why don't you read the context for us?
Yeah, he says picked up Caleb before because of Hurts week 5 bye. My friend offered me Saquon for Drake London and Aaron Jones. Should I take that trade? Should I ask him to add Scary Terry to the trade? Any other trade ideas? Have Brooks coming back in a few? Should I just wait? Okay, well, we'll have a look at your team here. And it says commit met your mother. How I commit your mother. And I love that team. According to experts consensus ranking here, you are currently ranked 4th. And we'll have a breakdown of this team really quick. Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Brooks, with Carson Steele, Raheem Mostert.
4th. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
4th, yeah. Wide receivers are Amon-Ra, Drake London, George Pickens, Lamar McConkey, Polk Shakira, and then your tight end is Travis Kelce. So let's start off here by just saying this is a decent team. I think your RB2 is definitely a weakness, but you do have Jonathan Brooks on the comeback here, and then Carson Steele. What is that going to look like? And then Ramondre Stevenson, Raheem Mostert, excuse me, also coming back. And what is that going to look like? This is a start 8, so I'm assuming you can start 3 wide receiver with the Amon-Ra, Drake London, and then you're probably going back and forth from George Pickens and Shakira.
Well, you can start 4 in a start 8.
Start 4. So then Shakira and then George Pickens, Drake London, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 I'm starting there.
RB2 is certainly questionable, but there's enough here for me to wait it out. His first question was, should I take that trade, which is Saquon for Drake London and Aaron Jones? I don't think this really helps you. Like, obviously, you get Saquon Barkley, which is great, but you're still in a position where your RB2 is super weak, and you also just lost a starting wide receiver. Your wide receiver room is not strong enough to take on this deal, where now George Pickens is a must play for you every week. So the answer for me is absolutely not. I wouldn't do that deal. And then he said, should I ask him to add Scary Terry? Would you do it if it was Saquon and Scary Terry for London and Aaron Jones?
By the way, the guy that has Saquon is Chasen Young and Hose. Love the name, by the way, just so you can have the context, so you can kind of see that. You know, right. with this, I think that gives me enough to do that trade, because Drake London, even though he's been decent so far, I think the fact that Saquon Barkley is RB1 and his production doesn't feel like it's going to let up, I think that's more than enough for me to go. And say Terry does have a tear down, but that's my belief of Jalen Daniels continuing to get better throughout the year.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
That's a big prediction when it comes down to Terry and Jalen Daniels, but I think that's kind of where you have to ride it out, right? Like, but at the same time, you're losing Aaron Jones. Like, you're upgrading at the running back, but then you're losing who you really should be starting at RB2.
You got to give him something if he's giving you Saquon.
Yeah,
Look, overall, for me, I do agree. I would take that deal if it meant I get Saquon and Terry, but you can't do the deal if it's just the 1 for 2, because you're going to put your team in a terrible position if it's a 1 for 2. Yes, you got Saquon Barkley, great, but you're starting Pickens every week. You're starting McConkey every week. It's like Shakir. It's going to be really, really difficult if you do it that way. So, yes, I'm definitely wanting the deal if you can add Scary Terry. And we'll definitely look at other trade ideas for you. Again, guys, we are reviewing a team right now. Check out the link in the pinned comment if you want your team reviewed. But totally open to that deal. So if you accept that deal, now you've got starting in your starting 8, Jalen Hurts. You've got Saquon Barkley, Carson Steele for now, eventually Jonathan Brooks. Then you'd have Amon-Ra, Terry, Pickens, and then probably Shakir this week, which is not a bad lineup, and Travis Kelce. So that's not bad at all. And obviously having the upside of a Saquon Barkley and a Jalen Hurts, you know, whoever scores the touchdowns, you're going to account for them in one of the better offenses in the NFL. So I like it overall. Let's give this team a grade from an A to an F. What would you grade this team right now? Not thinking about a trade, just given its current construction, an A to an F. How would you grade this team?
I would say this is a B minus for me. B minus C plus. I think there's a lot of big gaps in this team, in my opinion.
I think what really hurt us is the Travis Kelce pick. Obviously, we would have taken him really high in the draft, probably second or third round, and that would have hindered us from really taking some players we wanted. We hit on Aaron Jones, which is helpful.
I think my biggest concern
was
here
our first pick. London was our second pick. Kelce was our third pick. Hurts was probably our fourth pick, and then
probably George Pickens. I think that's probably
Jones,
where this is where I would have disagreed. Like I didn't like that you got George Pickens. I mean, obviously we weren't big fan. I wasn't big fans of George Pickens, but I wonder who you could have gotten in that George Pickens pick area. But
sure. I mean, he's had some pretty tough matchups. He's got a much better schedule upcoming, so I wouldn't be selling George Pickens right now. He'd be a buy rather than a sell.
You definitely can't sell him, I don't think. But yes, I would agree. It is an interesting team, but that's where I'm at right now. C plus B minus.
Yeah, I put it like B range, solid B. I think if Shakir continues to break out, that could definitely change your team. If the Chargers decide to throw the ball more at any point, Ladd McConkey could be a breakout. Jalen Polk if Drake May starts. Blake Corum if there's an injury to Kyron Williams. You've got a lot of upside on your team. Jonathan Brooks is a strong hold. I mean, if you can move Jonathan Brooks for like Brian Robinson or something, you do it in a heartbeat, but I just don't think that's possible. But we like the Saquon trade if you can add Scary Terry. Mm-hmm. I would be open to moving Jalen Hurts. I think that's what I'd like to look at first with this team. So let's look at the worst quarterback team, the guy who has Anthony Richardson, for example. How about we expand the trade and we ask for Anthony Richardson, Saquon Barkley, and Cooper Kupp. A-Rich, Saquon, Cooper Kupp, and we will give you... it might be getting too complicated now. Let's say Saquon, Anthony Richardson, and Cooper Kupp. We'll give you Jalen Hurts, Drake London, and Jonathan Brooks. I think that's something that you could try. Which would be very helpful for you. This team has Dak Prescott. They probably are fine. Joe Burrow, they're probably fine. How about the team with Brock Purdy and Geno Smith? Can you give them Jordan Love and Jonathan Brooks for... no, there's no one on their team like that. Yeah. No, that team's tough. Just trying to find a team that's quarterback needy. I think most of your guys are fine at quarterback, actually.
Yeah, in a one quarterback league, it's normally a bit difficult, but
try that with
the only
Jason
team
Young-Hose.
Yeah, the only team that is really quarterback needy is Anthony Richardson, and even then, like I feel like that's a little bit tough. But I agree that's probably the only trade you probably can do to sell high on one of your top players here in Jalen Hurts. But I think the first step, like, hey, if you can add Terry to that Saquon Drake London deal, I think that's good enough for the both of us. And then you hope that Raheem Mostert comes back, Jonathan Brooks takes a big step when he gets onto the field, and then Carson Steele, maybe he is a good decent floor. He's getting you 10 to 12 points a game if his role continues to grow. If not, maybe that's something you can do.
Yeah, so obviously I put the trade in the chat so you could visually see it. But if you can counter with the Scary Terry trade, that's fine. Another option is you sending Hurts, Brooks, and London for A-Rich, Saquon, and Cup. That to me is super interesting if he wants a quarterback upgrade and if he's worried about Cooper Kupp. But when Cooper Kupp comes back, that'll make your team absolutely unstoppable. Like if we think about that for a second, you can look at the waiver wire for quarterbacks if you feel like you need more help at quarterback. But taking away Jalen Hurts, you have A-Rich. You can start him. We can look at. I mean, I didn't see Sam Darnold on anyone's team. I didn't see Baker Mayfield on anyone's team. You could pick up those guys if you want. But then you have Saquon Barkley and still have Aaron Jones. Okay, great. You have Amon-Ra. You have Kupp when he's back. Pickens, McConkey, Shakir. To me, that makes your team even better. So yeah, I think that's a great option. But according to league analyzers right now, I think right now you are. How do I sort this by overall? Like once you sort it by quarterback, how do you unsort it from overall?
That's a great question.
Let's see here. Okay, there it goes. It sorts. So right now they have you around 4th. But you can see, like, your team is not that far off from the number 1 team. So you're definitely in contention. I definitely think you'll make playoffs. Just gotta put yourself in a position where you get some superstars on your team.
Yeah, I agree. But we appreciate that team review, man. Thank you so much.
Not a good time to sell Kelsey. Don't sell Amon-Ra. Bad time to sell Pickens. Bad time to sell McConkey. Bad time to sell Brooks. Everyone else, we can look at conversations. If you can move Jalen Hurts and downgrade at quarterback but upgrade at somewhere else like RB2, great. If you can move London, we're open to that. But yeah, overall, pretty decent team, man.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for that. For that,
yeah,
I think we do have another team review
from Benz. This is
Benz.
a 2-quarterback league. It's an 8-team league. It's a start 11.
Okay, so this is definitely a bigger league here.
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz, and it looks like you are ranked first according to expert consensus rankings here. We're just gonna have a look at this team. You should not sure what to do. Sorry, it says not sure how this will show up, but it started. Okay, anyways, we'll have a look at your team. Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold, so far a great quarterback room. I think maybe if there's a third quarterback available, you pick him up since it is a super flex for the bye weeks. Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, Zach Moss, Bucky Irving with Blake Corum. I think this is a great running back room, especially the way Bucky Irving is coming up, and then Zach Moss is doing all right. And at start 11 meeting, you can start up to 6 flex spots. Six wide receivers, excuse me. So Monrod, Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Devonta Smith, Roma Dunze, and Jalen Waddle. Looks like you're going to be starting Xavier Worthy this week with no Devonta Smith. Or you can start another running back, however way you want to go. And then the tight ends, you probably have some of the best here in Trey McBride and David Njoku. So at the moment, man, if there's anything that you should be doing here, it's probably nothing. Why? Because you are in an 8-man league. With all due respect, and this is a great team. I think this is a really good team here. I'm not necessarily sure what we can do, unless it's trying to build off of some of these quarterbacks. I think that's the first thing I would say you probably could do.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't sell the quarterbacks personally. I think you hit on Darnold. You hit on him late.
I'm saying maybe picking up another quarterback, whoever is available. Like if there's like a Justin Fields, you have pick him up, hold him. But yes, I would agree.
I don't think Fields is going to be available in a 2-quarterback league.
It's an 8-man league though.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be available. I'm looking at all the teams that he's not available, or he's available.
All right, well, yeah, if he's available, pick him up. Sorry, someone's spamming the chat. Number one way to not get your question answered, spam it in the chat. Never fails.
Spam it in the chat.
Yeah, no, I think this team is very good. Very, very good. I mean, if I had to give it a grade from an A to an F, I'd say we're a solid A minus range.
Yeah, I agree.
At quarterback 2, you could say it's a weak spot, but Sam Darnold has been a great option so far, and the great thing if you drafted Sam Darnold in a Superflex league is there's no JJ McCarthy to think about.
Yeah,
he's clearly their best option. He is throwing more touchdowns than any other quarterback in the NFL. I hope that I had a part to play in you drafting Alvin Kamara. He wasn't my guy this year. And that's obviously paying dividends. Josh Jacobs is going to be so much better when Jordan Love is back into this roster. I love that we are stashing high upside handcuffs like Corum, like Bucky Irving. I love that you have JSN, who I believe will break out this week. Dunze is a great play. I mean, your team would have been even better if Tua didn't get injured because Jalen Waddle is obviously suffering from that. Trey McBride is still the number one tight end in my rankings rest of season. I know he's going to miss this week, but I would still prefer him over any other name. And who knows what you could have when David Njoku's back. I'd give this a solid A minus. And he is in the chat with us. And he says, wondering if I should sell Chase or Amon-Ra for some depth. No, absolutely not. When you're in a format that's so small, we want superstars everywhere, right? So you can see the league analyzer already has you as the number one team in your league. And you're in a situation where you have names like Devonta Smith who are injured, and they will come back and help your team. Jalen Waddle, who's missing Tua, who Tua will come back, and that will help your team. David Njoku, who hasn't been healthy. Trey McBride, who is out with an injury right now. So, no, in my opinion, we want more of those names, Benzie, in a small 8-team league. And I know you have a big depth to your starting rosters. Like you said, start 11. That's a lot of spots. That's great. I'm glad you guys did that in an 8-team because it makes it more competitive. But right now, no way. In an 8 or a 10-team league, you cannot pry guys like Chase or Amon-Ra from my roster. You can't do it. I'm not giving you the Alvin Kamaras of the world. I'm not giving you the Trey McBrides of the world. I am keeping as many superstars as I possibly can. It's a hammers league. Hammers win your league. And right now you got more hammers than pretty much anyone else out there, especially if Sam Darnold continues to do what he can do. So if I'm in your position, like, let's just say this from the beginning. Kyler Murray's untouchable. Alvin Kamara is untouchable. Amon-Ra is untouchable. Jamar Chase is untouchable. Trey McBride is untouchable. These names are not leaving my roster at any point this year in a start 8. They're home. They found their home, and they are not moving anywhere else. What I think you can do is potentially look at selling Bucky Irving to the owner of Rachaad White. If they're concerned about Rachaad White missing some time, that could be something that you could go ahead and try and do. Let's see who has Rachaad White. Why don't we start there?
You trying to find him? Am I tripping?
Rachaad White is Team 3, Frizzo. So, for example, can you send him Bucky Irving? I wonder if we can find our way into Tua. Can you send him Bucky Irving and does he need tight end? Kind of. How about Njoku? Why don't you send him Bucky Irving and Njoku? Try and get your hands on Tua. That could be super interesting. The other idea you could do is Bucky Irving and, like, let's say Worthy for Mike Evans. Right now, Mike Evans is a great buy low, and I doubt this guy really, in an ideal world, wants 3 Buccaneers on his team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you can give him the running back room and say, hey, you don't need to worry about playing both those wide receivers. Give me Mike Evans. I'll give you Worthy, and I'll give you Bucky Irving so you can cover off your running back. Boom. You got another hammer on your team. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind that. I think one of the biggest constructive things that I can say and see here is, like, I'm not sure how many bench spots you do have, but in an 8-man league, let's pick up some high upside guys. You're probably never going to start him, but, like, since you are looking for depth here, is like a Wando Robinson available, a Darnell Mooney, is a Jerry Jeudy available. I know that's not like is exciting, but maybe these are names that you could go out and potentially go pick up.
Can I just add on to that? If those names are available, then you can make depth trades and just pick those guys up the waiver. So don't pick them up until you make those depth trades. Like, you package Xavier Worthy and someone to upgrade. Do you know what I mean? And then if your waiver is really that shallow, then you can pick up those waiver wire players. One thing I wanted to clarify, I did talk about buying Tua, but you mentioned that Fields is on the waivers. If Fields is on the waivers, I'm doing everything I can to get him on my team then.
Yeah,
and we're not going to go out and buy a Tua. I just want to clarify that. And it looks like Benzi's in the chat with us. Can you clarify, Benzi, is Justin Fields actually on your waiver wire? Who are the quarterbacks on your waiver wire right now? That would be good to know.
And I can see, like, there's a lot of teams that do have not too many depths or does have a lot. Like, I can see that Mooney is available.
Fields and
Fields
Goff on the
and Golf
wire.
is
Wow.
available. I mean, I'm willing to pick them up. Once again, I'm not sure how many people are available here. Like for in my personal opinion, I would personally be picking Fields or Golf up and then dropping a Keaton Mitchell. He's probably on the IR already. But like if he's not on the
Well,
IR and
yeah.
taking up an actual roster spot, thank you
I
for
dropped
your
likely.
service.
I dropped
I'll drop
likely.
likely as well. Yeah, I mean, I know Zach probably won't like this, but I will drop Blake Corm. But it just depends on
I would
what is
if I
available
had
and
to get
who is
one of those
available,
quarterbacks.
especially in an 8-man league. Like I think you
But
have enough depth.
here's
there.
what I would say: knowing that those guys are on your waiver wire in a 2 quarterback league, that tells me your waiver wire is probably chocked full of good players, which means I am doing 2-for-1s everywhere. Can I package Zach Moss and Bucky and upgrade somewhere? Can I package Devonta Smith and Roma Dunze and upgrade somewhere? You know, can I package Sam Darnold and Bucky like we talked about and go and get a Jaden Daniels, just as an example? Like, just throwing out names.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that your waiver wire is chocked full of huge, valuable names, I'd be doing a lot of 2-for-1s. Depth would be the least of my concern if my waiver wire is full of decent players.
Yeah, I agree. Andre, I'm once again just trying to find names like Andre Yeshivas, some running backs. Maybe Cam Makers pick him up just in case if he's available. I know DeAndre Swift is not sexy yet. Maybe somebody dropped him in an 8-man league. Rico Dowdle, Jalen Warren, Tajay Spears. Once again, these aren't sexy names, but if there is an injury to one of those guys in front of those players, they then become maybe tradable assets or somebody that you could potentially be starting. Is Shakir available? Christian Kirk, Lam McConkey, Christian Watson, Jawan Jennings. I think I said Darnell Mooney. Once again, I can't go through every single team here. Just throwing out names: Brandon Cooks, Wandale Robinson, Josh Palmer. Even hell, like see what happens.
I wouldn't pick up Palmer, not in a low volume offense where he's not the number one.
Sure, just you get what I'm saying though. Like those are some probably names you can go out and try just to pick up, stash, and see what happens.
Okay, so in summation, this league, the winner will be defined by how many superstars they have on their roster. It won't be defined by depth. So that is your mindset moving forward. It doesn't sound like you need to trade for quarterbacks because of Fields and Goff being on the waiver wire. In fact, if I could use Sam Darnold, if I can use Sam Darnold and package him with like Devonta Smith or Zach Moss and upgrade massively at running back or wide receiver, I would do that and then go pick up Goff and Fields off the waiver wire.
Exactly.
So it's all about trying to get as many stars on your roster as you possibly can. Yes, injuries are concerning, but your waiver wire is full of startable names. Don't be worried about that. You want hammers across the board. You do not ever want to accept a trade where you're getting 2 players for 1. You want to be the person getting the 1 for the 2 players. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even for a team that's probably struggling right now, let's say AJ Brown's hurt. Can you go out and trade for AJ Brown? He's not playing for a couple weeks, and for a quarterback needy team, trade Sam Darnold and somebody, and then go out and get AJ Brown, and that just solidifies another superstar on your team. Can you do that for Puka? Can you do that for Cooper Kupp?
How in the world is the guy who has Mahomes and Herbert still rocking with Justin Herbert? That is insane. Like, I'd be sending this guy right now. I'd be sending him Sam Darnold, and I want to try and get Ayuk from him or Derrick Henry.
Dude,
I send him Sam Darnold and Zach Moss and see if I can get Derrick Henry. I send him Sam Darnold and Roma Dunze and see if I can get Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what.
And then go pick up Fields and Goff. Both of those guys, pick them up. You know.
Benzie said, "Would you start Darnold, Fields, or Goff this week?" I think we both have Darnold. I think it's close with Goff, but the thing is, like, we're happy to have Jared Goff on our team and starting on a week-to-week basis. If you can tier up at another position,
exactly.
So, like, maybe this week, sure, we like to say Sam Darnold, but maybe long term, we would still rather have that superstar wide receiver that you can get, or that superstar running back that you can go out and get to add to your depth. So, yeah.
If you guys want your team reviewed, I put a link in the chat. But yeah, appreciate you, Benzie, man. Let us know if you have any final questions. It's great that you're here in the chat with us, but hopefully that gives you that mindset moving forward of how to operate, because in your format, we would operate completely different than how we would, let's say we were in a 12-team league. So hopefully that's helpful. Hey, we got a start sit from Morgan, so I know we got a couple team reviews. Let's get to the start sit because it's just so quick. Start three. Yeah. This is from Morgan. Shout out to Morgan. Start 3 wide receivers. Trey McBride out. Also, which tight end should I start? It's supposed to be Tyler Conklin. Okay, so yeah. If Tyler Conklin is your best option, he's totally a fine name to put out there. He's in that streaming conversation. You can form the narrative when you say like, hey, Garrett Wilson might be covered, so Conklin might be necessary. But I think his question is Pat Freiermuth or Tyler Conklin. And if that is the question, which direction would you go there?
I will be going Tyler Conklin this week.
I think I also agree.
I like Pat Freiermuth. I really do, especially against the Colts.
It's just a low volume passing offense, isn't it?
Exactly, a low volume. We're looking, if you're looking based off of the quarterback play, I would rather have my tight end getting the ball thrown by Aaron Rodgers, much as I love Justin Fields. But at the same time, we saw that. I'm not saying 14 points is Conklin's ceiling, but at least we see that he can be a guy that can get the ball more than what we were expecting. So I'll take Tyler Conklin this week.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say is the way he's filled it out is like these are all his options. Oh no, don't exit stream mode. But he only wants us to start 3 of these wide receivers. So he filled it out a different way, and that's okay. Let's just visually be on the same page here. So we need 3 of these wide receivers. To me, that is probably Higgins, Wilson, London.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
I'm just gonna message him this. And the only reason I'm messaging him is because he didn't fill it out right, so it's not going to prompt him the right way. Just so you guys know, when you're filling out your roster, the first step is by saying how many starters are in your lineup, and then you can add players as options just to help you guys moving forward. But I sent him a message, but we appreciate you, man. Thanks for that start sit question. All right, Tapman is the next team review here, brother.
Yeah, Tapman, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. He says, looking to see if I can make a trade and improve my team. Any ideas? I am 1-2, and I got burned by Mark Andrews and Elliott last week with 0s. Oh boy. Okay, so it looks like your name is Trump Force 47. This is an 8-man league, and you're currently ranked 3rd in this league. It's a 1 quarterback, 8 teams, start 7 non-tight end premium full PPR.
Okay.
Looking at this team, Jalen Hurts is your quarterback. Bijan, Joe Money Bags with James Conner and Aaron Jones. Phenomenal. AJ Brown, Drake London, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle.
Tight end, wide receivers where we need to improve. By the way, keep AJ Brown when he comes back. You'll be very happy that you have him. This is just straight off the bat, Badaki. This is another example of a small league. But this is to an even further extent. We just reviewed an 8-team league, but they had start 11. So their roster was very deep in the starting lineup. You're in an 8-team start 7. It doesn't get smaller than that in fantasy football. I guess you could have a 6-team. It just doesn't really happen. Like 8-team start 7 is as small as your starting roster can be. It's as stacked as rosters can be because there's not many teams in the league. So this league is entirely about hammers. It's entirely about superstars. Depth does not matter one bit. Like in any trade you make across the board, do not care about depth. Care about getting the best player by far, right?
Agreed.
So let's start with just off the top. Let's start with 2 things: team grade and untouchables, guys that you won't move. Number 1, team grade.
Team grade, I would say this is a B plus.
Yeah. Ferguson could turn this to an A- if he keeps going, but I agree. B plus.
Come on, Jakey. Come on, baby. We need you. We need you in the flock league. Yes,
now,
I agree.
Untouchables: Jalen Hurts, Bijan, AJ Brown, Mixon, I think are my untouchables.
Sure.
So we're not moving Hurts. We're not moving Bijan or Mixon or AJ Brown.
Ferguson might be an untouchable just based off of how he's been performing at the tight end position.
I'd maneuver him to a different tight end if I can upgrade somewhere else personally.
Yeah, if you can upgrade, sure. I just feel like the only reason why I'm saying that is because of how disappointing the tight end position has been so far, and I feel like Jake Ferguson has been one of the only most consistent tight ends before his injury, or I guess not even before his injury. But
Yeah,
anyways,
no, that's
you
fine.
get
I
what
mean,
you get what I'm saying.
I get it. I still think I wouldn't put him as a untouchable, but I definitely get where you're coming from with the landscape of tight ends. Here's what I would say. I'm probably looking to find a running back needy team to upgrade at wide receiver. So why don't we start there? Let's sort by running back strength in your league. Ripley has Brian, Najee, and Charbonnet. So this guy is probably needing a running back, especially now that Ken Walker is back. If he doesn't think he needs a running back, let him wait till next week. Then he's probably more open to the conversation. But Jaden Reed is a perfect target in this league right now.
Yeah.
I would love to send him James Conner. What do you do, though? Because all these players, man, I mean, it's such a shallow league, isn't it? I mean, can you send him James Conner for Jaden Reed straight up?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Can you try that? Can you see what's going to happen for James Conner, Jaden Reed straight up? I would. I mean, I would even say Aaron Jones for James Conner or for Jaden Reed straight up. Maybe we'll disagree there.
I'd rather keep Aaron at this point, but I get it.
Yeah, I think since I'm okay at the depth, like if I had to send Aaron Jones for Reed and I feel better to start another wide receiver there, that's what I'll do, and vice versa. So that's kind of where I would be going for a 1-for-1.
Or you can try and get a Monra and go hard, send him James Conner and Drake London. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can afford to make that move in this league. We are starting 7 players in an 8-team league.
I was going to say, I mean, can you even throw the quarterback in there and Sam Darnold? You have Jalen Hurts. You're probably never going to start him in a 1 quarterback. Sam Darnold right now, a top 5 quarterback on the season, if I'm not mistaken. He's leading the league in touchdowns as well. That's how you sell it. This is what you're doing to sell it here. So yeah, Sam Darnold.
So this, just so he can visually see it, James Conner or Aaron Jones plus London for Amon-Ra St. Brown, smash. If you have to include a quarterback like Sam Darnold to get it over the board, easy. Again, you can only start 7 players, and it's such a small league. If you can do that, that's a huge smash for your roster. So that's a great start. Let's go to the next team that needs running back. They have Ramondre, Eckler, James Cook. Can we send them James Conner and Jones? I mean, do we go to Ayuk here? I don't think you can get Neighbors, but I mean, would you send like Mixon and Higgins for Neighbors? Just as an idea.
Mixon and T. Higgins for Malik Neighbors. I guess like that's kind of where you have to go.
In this small of a league, I prefer to do the
yeah. I would try Connor, and then I personally would try Connor, T. Higgins, Connor, and Waddle. Maybe that's too much.
You can't move. I don't think
Waddle.
You can do that.
But I think if like T. Higgins has a good breakout game this week, maybe you can mix in James Conner and T. But yes, like you probably can't do that.
Yeah, you can try mixing in Higgins for Neighbors. First try London and Jones, or London and Connor for Neighbors. That's an option. This guy has Gibbs, Walker. He lost Pacheco. Okay, Puka Nacua, great. This is a league where you got to try and get Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp. You have to try and do it. So can we send him James Conner and Waddle for Puka? Right? I'm gonna type it in the chat as well so he can visually see it on the screen. Connor or Jones plus Waddle or Higgins for Puka. Can you do that? Or can you do the same thing for Cooper Kupp for whoever has Cooper Kupp? All right. So just so he can visually see this if he's watching later or watching now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are like the perfect trade targets for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this guy's team is insane. CD's nuts.
Oh, this is Tapman's team. So he's here. He's watching.
Okay, cool.
Okay, this is awesome. So hopefully that helps there, Tapman. I mean, there's a bunch of different options here.
Tyreek Hill's another name.
Yeah, you want superstars. Guys that values are not where it needs to be right now, but we do believe that it's going to get there. Tyreek Hill, Tua does come back. AJ Brown, potentially. Puka Nacua, CeeDee
Ideally,
Lamb.
you send him Waddle in that deal, by the way.
Yeah. Puka Nakua, the Cooper Cups, the Jaden Reeds, which we kind of mentioned already earlier.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good ideas in there, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. So let us know if you have any other questions. But this is a great team. I think you're doing well so far. Untouchables. I don't know if you were here, but we did say untouchables. Jalen Hurts, Bijan. We threw out Joe Mixon there, AJ Brown, and I said there could be an argument for Jake Ferguson of the tight end position.
Yeah.
But everyone else essentially is
no
up
point
for
in
grabs.
trying to trade for tight end at this point because Ferguson's one of the better starters. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, I think we gave like 5 or 6 trade ideas, and all of them I feel so confident would help you long term. So great team, dude. I appreciate the support.
Yeah. I think we don't have any other ones. But we did get a super chat on YouTube, which I think most likely will be our last one here. But you let me know.
Okay. I think his donation came in twice. Not that he paid twice. I just think it came on the website twice. Let me just double check. Is there any other reviews? No, I think you're right. We're good. We did get a super chat from Kix. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Kix. We appreciate that super chat. Thank you for waiting and being so patient. He said pick 2 White, J.K., Reed, Watson, Fields, or Donald. So picking 2 out of, I'm assuming, Rashad White. If it's Rashad White, I'm going Ridley and Rashad White. If that's Zamir White, I'm going Ridley and Watson. I'm assuming that is Christian Watson. And then Field or Donald, I think we would both be going Donald there.
I think Dobbins is definitely in play for me.
I don't love Dobbins' matchup against the Chiefs.
I hate it too, but I don't think Rashad White's good. I don't like his matchup, and I think Bucky's going to take work from him. Ridley is so up and down. Watson's boom bust. I think JK is your most reliable floor. So I think I have to put JK in there.
That's fair.
And then I think I just throw Ridley out there. There's so many boom busts. How about Fields or Darnold? I'm going Darnold.
I'm going Darnold. Yeah, I'm going Darnold there.
Very close.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was a very long stream. It was great. Yeah. We appreciate you guys for being here with us. Last thing I'll say is we are going to log off for the day. We answered as many questions as we possibly could. We appreciate you guys so much. Ultimately, you guys can probably see by the chat, it's just impossible for us to answer everyone's question. It is. I'm so sorry. There's hundreds of questions we weren't able to get to. But
yeah,
you can ask us a question at any time through our website. And by the way, when you ask the question, you can put in the comments, "Hey, just answer this before week 4." Because we won't stream again this week before the game starts. So
before the games, yeah.
Any questions that you ask right now, we will go ahead and answer on the website. So don't worry. Even if we log off, you can ask us a question through the website. It's that same link. You can get where we sent the team reviews and everything. But you guys are incredible. We appreciate you. Good luck this week. And yeah, all love.